Details or apply at timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
George Springer has given the Blue Jays the lead once again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A Junior Jays Sunday here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays and Rays about to square off in the third of three games as Toronto looks to salvage a win from this series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Appreciate you joining us today, and it's going to be an entertaining day. Alek Manoah makes the start against Aaron Savali. And Chris, we saw the best of Alek Manoah a week ago when he started against the Minnesota Twins.
Well, I love every single time Alek Manoah gets on that mound. There's always so much to dissect, whether it's good, whether it's bad. And we saw the best parts of Alek Manoah in his last start. He threw so many good pitches, and that's what I love about Alek Manoah. The stuff is there. It's just, can he harness that stuff? Can he command the fastball? Can he be consistent? And that's the biggest thing for the Blue Jays, for Pete Walker, trying to figure out how they can get that consistency out of him every single outing. His last outing was great, but his first outing was not. Almost a complete opposite 180 of a start, and I'm really excited to see him. He looks great. Like I said, there's so much to dissect, good or bad, every single Alek Manoah start, and I know you feel the same way.
Yeah, if the name of the game is entertainment, he tends to provide that. So we'll see what the Blue Jays and Manoah do today. Before we get there, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees 32-15 atop the division, with Baltimore at 28-15, 2 games back. The Tampa Bay Rays are 25-22 in third, and the Boston Red Sox 22-24 in fourth. The Blue Jays in fifth in the division at 19-25. Don Mattingly is handing in the Blue Jays lineup card right now. Chris, who's in the lineup first for Kevin Cash and the Tampa Bay Rays?
Well, leading off for the Tampa Bay Rays is first baseman Yandy Diaz. In right field, batting second is Josh Lowe. Randy Arozarena will bat third and play left field. In the cleanup spot will be Jonathan Aranda. He'll DH. Isak Paredes will hit fifth and play third base. Playing second base and batting sixth will be Richie Palacios. Johnny DeLuca will bat seventh and play center field. Behind the plate, hitting eighth will be Ben Rortvedt. And batting ninth is Jose Caballero. He'll play shortstop. On the mound is righty Aaron Savali. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off and playing second base is Davis Schneider. Dalton Varsho will play left field and hit second. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will bat third and play first base. In the cleanup spot will be Bo Bichette. He'll play shortstop. DHing and batting fifth will be Daniel Vogelbach. In right field is George Springer. He'll bat sixth for the second straight day. Batting seventh and playing third base is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Behind the dish is Alejandro Kirk. He'll hit eighth. And in center field, batting ninth is Kevin Kiermaier. On the mound, making his third start, is Alek Manoah.
For Manoah, an 0-1 record so far this year and a 4.91 ERA in those two starts, 12 strikeouts and 5 walks in 11 innings pitched. The 6'6 right-hander loosening up right now with Alejandro Kirk as the Blue Jays take their warm-ups before the first inning. First inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. For Alek Manoah, he has a four-seam fastball and a sinker, a slider, and a changeup. He used that changeup a lot in his last start, especially against left-handed hitters for Minnesota. There's 4 lefties in the lineup today for the Rays, so perhaps Chris a pitch he'll have to rely on again.
Well, that changeup in his last start was incredible. We saw it early on, and we were kind of questioning if that's going to be something that he uses going forward, and he threw a ton of them, a ton of good ones that started in the strike zone. Like I've said 1,000 times, whether it's a split finger or whether it's a changeup, you have to have good arm speed. It has to look like a strike out of the hand. And I tell you what, in his last start, a lot of them did look like a strike out of the hand, and most of them had that good fastball arm speed. Hopefully he throws a lot of those things today.
Manoa is standing about 10 feet behind the mound, looking up toward the sky, now looking down and getting ready for his 3rd start of the year. Waiting for him already in the box, Yandy Diaz, the first baseman for the Rays. Blue Jays in their darker blues today, white pants. The Rays in their sky blues with gray pants. Game 3 of the series. Rays have won each of the first 2 by 1 run. Manoa on the mound, kicks, delivers, and misses outside to start his day. Time of the first pitch is 1:38 Eastern. Dome is open. A sunny day, 19 degrees Celsius, 67 Fahrenheit. The 1-0. Fouled back, 1 ball and 1 strike. A little bit of wind today. You can see the banners in center field blowing toward left field. It was a foggy day in the morning, but it's cleared up nicely here in Toronto. Diaz, a .263 hitter, gets ready for the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off the glove of Kirk, 1-2.
It's about as good as it gets in terms of how nice it is. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. There is a little bit of a chill. We're in the shade here
breeze
up in the booth.
Manoa reaches back, and here's the 1-2. Grounded to third. Picked up by IKF at his gut. He throws over to first, and there's 1 out.
Manoa got away with one there. That was a slider right down the middle, just a spinning slider. Yandy Diaz a tad bit out in front of that ball. That's not where Alejandro Kirk wanted that pitch, obviously, but he gets away with one there, gets a weak ground ball to third base.
That's big for the Blue Jays, who didn't retire Diaz in 5 tries yesterday. He went 3 for 3 with 2 walks. Left-handed hitter Josh Lowe up, a swing and a miss at the first pitch, and Manoa's ahead of him 0-1. Infield for the Blue Jays shifts to the pull side, and IKF, the third baseman, is playing even with the baseline. 0-1. Inside. Lowe jumps back out of the way.
I actually don't mind that pitch right there. You have to establish the inside part of the plate and move some feet, especially early on, and Alek Manoah does just that.
His 1-1. Lowe gets it off the end of the bat, a pop-up foul and into the seats behind home plate. First changeup for Manoa. It's 1-2. Josh Lowe, the hitter for the Rays, plays right field today. Hitting .263 in his first 10 games of the year. 4 doubles, 2 homers. 1-2 pitch. At his back foot for ball 2. Manoa comes set just above his belt. The right-hander kicks and delivers. High with the fastball, full count.
And again, Alejandro Kirk trying to tap the ground, fake out any prying eyes in that Rays dugout, and then they go with the heater up.
Here's the payoff. Fouled back. Lowe reached out for a changeup that was likely ball 4 and tipped it into the netting to keep the at-bat going.
That changeup had just enough run at the end of it to kind of sneak away from the barrel of Josh Lowe. Not a ton of movement on his changeup early, but that's a feel pitch, and eventually, hopefully in the second, third inning, he gets a feel for it and he can really manipulate it.
Manoa's 3-2 again. Smoked to second, caught on a line by Davis Schneider, 2 down.
And that shows you right there. He just threw 2 3-2 changeups. He has a ton of confidence, especially after his last outing in that changeup. I mean, you have to have a ton of confidence in a pitch to throw it 3-2, especially an off-speed pitch.
And it actually got weaker contact than it looked like. That ball went off the end of the bat and wasn't lined super hard, 80 miles an hour. First pitch to Randy Arozarena. He takes strike one. 2 outs and the base is empty. No score, top of the first inning. Alek Manoah has thrown 12 pitches so far, 8 of them strikes. His 0-1. Foul back into the netting, 0-2. Arozarena went 1 for 5 yesterday, a pair of strikeouts. Hitting 162 this season, although 8 homers and 18 RBIs. Manoah's 2-strike pitch. Lifted to center, playable for Kiermaier, who stops now, jogs in, and makes a 2-handed catch to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Alek Manoah to start. The Blue Jays send Davis Schneider, Dalton Varsho, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to the plate next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss. Eric Swanson strikes out the side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the first inning at Rogers Center. Scoreless ball game, Blue Jays and Rays. And Aaron Savali is about to embark on his 10th start of the year. His first pitch to Davis Schneider, right on right. Hit on the ground to short, picked up there by Jose Caballero. A crow hop and throw to first. 1 pitch, 1 out. For Savali, it's been a struggle in his first full season with the Rays. 2-3 record, 5.83 ERA, 49 Ks and 12 walks, and 46 in the third innings. Efficient to start, though, and here's Dalton Varsho, the left-handed hitter, with 1 out. A wind from Savali in the pitch. Called strike 1.
Well, Savali's a guy that has very average stuff. A cutter, a curve, sinker, all very average velocity, average movement. So he has to locate all of his pitches very well, and he really hasn't done that up until this point.
0-1 pitch is inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue Jays saw Savali in the opening series, and he went 6 innings, allowed only 1 run. His start to the year much better than recent starts. 1-1. Downstairs, 2-1. If you go to the first 4 games that Aaron Savali started this year, he had a 2.74 ERA. Faced the Texas Rangers in that span. Was not soft competition. 2-1. Varsho hits it in the air, center field. DeLuca creeping toward left center, makes the catch, 2 down.
There's that cutter that he throws almost 30% of the time. Kind of sneaks away from the barrel right there, and Dalton Varsho hits a weak fly ball to center field.
There was a lot of that for Savali in his first 4 when he had a 2.74 ERA. His last 5 starts, he has an 8.87 ERA, including 2 starts against the Chicago White Sox. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with 2 outs and the bases empty. First pitch. Fastball in there at 92, strike 1. Guerrero with a 3-hit day yesterday, including a double and an RBI. A 1 pitch outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Vladdy's average up to 280 on the year, 7 doubles, 4 homers, 20 RBIs. The 1-1. Low and outside, 2-1. New baseball for Savali, who chucks it toward the first base dugout and gets a fresh one. 6'2" right-hander inspects the ball, goes to his right hip for the pitch comm, and now puts his hands in front of his stomach. The wind in the 2-1. Guerrero swings and hits it in the air, foul, down the right field line and deep into the 200 level. 2-2.
I'll tell you what, Vlad is very quietly having a pretty decent season. I know he's not hitting with a ton of power, but over his last 30 games, he's hitting .327.
And last 15 games, he's hitting .484. 2 outs and the base is empty. The 2-2 to Guerrero. High and tight, he ducks back out of the way. Still kind of Soto shuffles and his stumble back. It's a full count. Guerrero just a tiny bit open in his stance, bat resting above his right shoulder. 3-2. Swinging a ground ball up the middle, right at the second baseman, Caballero, who's positioned behind the bag. He picks it up, throws to first, and ends the inning. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3 in the first. No score after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green and Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza. Served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
This summer, find more ways to save at Real Canadian Superstore than any other major grocer. The latest PC Insiders report is here, and you can get PC Ice Pops for only $5 while earning 2,000 PC Optimum points. Shop our aisles of summer before the offer ends May 22nd. See flyer for details.
In the woodlands of Japan lies the Shimayama Test Course. It is here where every Lexus vehicle that bears the F-Sport badge readies itself for the road. And with limited offers this season, grab hold of the F-Sport that's ready for you. F-Sport, track-born, road-ready.
Lease the new 2024 Lexus NX 350 from 3.4% APR for 24 months only. For more details on this offer, visit your local Lexus dealer.
Hey, this is Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. No score, Blue Jays and Rays. Top of the second, the pitch to Jonathan Aranda is cut on and missed. Strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. Alek Manoah kicks and delivers home. That pitch is just inside, ball 1. Home plate umpire today is Stu Sherwater. Jordan Baker at second. Dan Merzel at third. Crew chief Mark Carlson at third. Dan Merzel's at second, pardon me. 1-1 pitch is hit well to left field. Turns around, Varsho streaking to his left, makes the catch. Looked like a tough read for Varsho off the bat, who started right, twirled back left, and made the play.
Yeah, there was a lot of top spin on that ball right there. Dalton Varsho Makes a nice play running up against that left field fence. But another good changeup from Alek Manoah down in the zone. Jonathan Aranda actually does a good job hitting that ball to left field, but another good changeup.
Second left-handed hitter that Manoa has retired so far. He's retired all 4 that he's faced. Here's the pitch to Isaac Paredes. Called strike 1. We were talking about how well Guerrero has been hitting recently. Paredes just as well. He's on a 17-game on-base streak. His batting average on the year is .303. 0-1. In there again, strike 2. 95 on the outside corner from Manoa.
And that's going to be the most important aspect of the game today. Not the changeup, not the slider. Getting ahead with the fastball, and then you can expand with the changeup. Then you can expand with the slider.
Manoa ahead, no balls and 2 strikes on Paredes. Right-handed hitter is wide open in his stance, almost facing left. 0-2. Slider down and away, ball 1. During Paredes' 17-game on-base streak, he's hitting .377, and that streak 4th longest active in Major League Baseball. He ropes the 1-2 pitch foul into the boxes down the left field line.
That was really all Isaac Paredes could do with that pitch. A good fastball in on the hands. He's got quick hands, though. He pulls those things through and hit it way foul.
1-2 again. Bounced it foul this time to the left side. It hops into the Blue Jays dugout. One-two once more. Just outside with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Manoa tried to use that sinker that starts off the plate and breaks back over the outside corner, but just didn't break enough. Righty reaches back and releases. And he hit him. Home plate umpire didn't call time, but he definitely hit Isaac Paredes, who's already starting his walk down to first. Although, again, there's been no signal from Stu Sherwater. Paredes is looking at him, but perhaps he just said, hit batter, go forward. The ball did hit Paredes and then the ump, so Sherwater was still recovering from that blow, and Paredes is now down to first. First base runner of the game is Isaac Paredes. 1 out in the pitch to Richie Palacios. Check swing, called strike right at the belt. 0-1.
Right at the top of that strike zone. Palacios doesn't like that call. I think Kevin Cash over there is screaming as well, but that was a strike right at the top of the strike box.
Now the right on left 0-1. A little bit too high this time. Palacios bouncing around in the lefty batter's box. 1-1. Rex Specs for the left-handed hitting second baseman for the Rays. 1-1. Off the end of the bat, a cue shot down the third baseline, foul. 1-2.
And again, not a ton of movement on that changeup yet today, and that can change later on in the ball game. But good arm speed, looking like a fastball, and that's why Palacios was way out in front of it right there. Kind of just a straight, slower fastball there.
Runner on first, 1 down. No score, top of 2. The 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Palacios, a .265 hitter in his first year with the Rays. 3 doubles and 4 homers. He's got 11 RBIs and 7 stolen bases, too. 2-2. A check swing liner back into the netting, foul. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nearly 2/3 of Alek Manoah's pitches so far have been strikes, but the Rays, especially Paredes and Palacios, have fouled off some pitches and elevated his pitch count early on. 1 out in the top of the second, scoreless game, and here's Alek Manoah's 30th pitch of the day. Off the handle, a looper to the left side, foul, out of play.
That fastball right there was probably mechanically the best fastball of the day. It seems like he's trying to do just a little bit too much and maybe rushing a little bit and pulling that head off. He's been a tad bit erratic with that fastball so far today.
2-2 again. Popped up foul again. Back into the seats.
Another good one right there. A lot of horizontal movement. Started on the inside part of the plate. Came right back over the middle, but Palacios fouls it back.
4 straight foul balls for Palacios. The 2-2 again. And fouled back once more, right under our feet. Richie Palacios is going to take a walk around the dirt circle before he heads back to the lefty batter's box. He's seen 8 pitches already.
And this is where, if you have confidence in that changeup, you just throw that thing down in the strike zone with good arm action and let Palacios either swing and miss or hit a weak ground ball to second base.
Runner on first, 1 out. Manoa's pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Foul tipped into the glove of Kurt. He went with the slider, and there are 2 down.
Or you just throw a nasty slider like that one right there. The best one of the day so far. Good downward action on it. Palacios out in front. Kind of frustrated with himself for swinging at that pitch, but that's a good pitch right there. Started in the strike zone and drops right off the table.
Actually, wasn't foul tip, just hit the ground. Kirk picked it. First pitch to Johnny DeLuca, lifted to shallow right. IKF ranging back, makes the catch. Pardon me, it's Schneider, the second baseman on the turf, squeezing it to end the inning. A hit batter and 1 left on, but no runs for the Rays in the top of the second. 0-0, middle of 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
How can Blue Jays closer Jordan Romano improve on his already iconic entrance from the bullpen? Tim Meza and Eric Swanson had their own thoughts.
Hear me out. We shoot you out of a cannon. Picture this. Gate opens and you ride in on a moose. One word, roller skate. Super trendy right now.
Romano's thoughts?
I appreciate the ideas, but I got this.
On Monday, May 20th, the first 15,000 fans will get a Jordan Romano blue replica jersey. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
So that's a no on the moose?
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A drive to deep center field. Trout at the wall and watches it sail.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning at Rogers Center. Scoreless game right now. Blue Jays and Rays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bo Bichette leads off for Toronto against Aaron Savali. Right-handed pitcher winds and offers. Fastball outside, 1-0. Bichette reached once yesterday. He was hit by a pitch in the 8th inning. 1-0. Outside ball 2. But hitless over his last 2 after bringing a 6-game hit streak into the series is Bo Bichette. Next pitch. Swing and a fly ball down the right field line, slicing toward the seats, and it will get out of play. Bichette takes a quick walk toward the Blue Jay dugout, now turns his attention back to home. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Normally I would say that's not a good pitch to swing at when you're ahead in the count 2-0, but Bo is so good at hitting all sorts of zones. That was a fastball up and away, but he is very good at taking that pitch and hitting it on a line the other way.
The 2-1. Smoked to second, picked on one hop by the second baseman Caballero, who throws over to first. One down.
Now batting, number 20, Daniel Vogelbach.
Let's welcome our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 12-year-old Ara from Ottawa. Daniel Vogelbach about to step up, and with the clock winding down, he asks for time before the plate appearance gets started. Left-handed hitting DH steps in right at the back of the box and raises the bat above his left shoulder. First pitch. High, ball one.
Ara coming all the way from Ottawa. It's a long drive.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're here for the weekend.
I would hope so. I would hope so. Otherwise, you're up early this morning getting here. 1-0. Vogelbach swings, drives the ball right center field. Low going back at the wall. It's gone. The first home run in Daniel Vogelbach's Blue Jay career comes on the second pitch he sees today. 1-0 Blue Jays.
Well, we have been waiting almost 2 months for that, and I can guarantee that Daniel Vogelbach has been waiting just as long. He launches that thing into right center, a no-doubter.
Vogelbach mobbed by his teammates in the dugout. He gives the Blue Jays the lead with one out, and the first pitch is outside to George Springer, 1-0. A lot of discussion online pregame about Vogelbach being in, Danny Jansen not DHing today, and Vogelbach makes it worth it so far. 1-0. Called strike with a heater. 1 ball and 1 strike.
As soon as he hit that thing, he knew it. He took about 2 or 3 steps walking, held that finish at the top. You got to love it.
1-0 Toronto, and the 1-1. Check swing, pitch was outside, appeal down to first, and an emphatic strike call from Jordan Baker, first base up, 1-2. First time in this series that anyone has scored in the first 3 innings of a game. 1-2 to Springer. Outside, ball 2. Springer, a 197 hitter so far this season, batting in the 6th spot for the second straight game. 2-2. Low and outside, full count. For Springer, he hadn't batted 6th since his rookie season in 2014. Has never batted below number 6 in the order as a starter. Three-two. Outside, ball 4. George Springer takes a walk after the Vogelbach homer, and the Blue Jays have a base runner.
Now batting, number 7, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Again, that's 12-year-old Ara from Ottawa, and hey, last person she announced went yard. Here's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with 1 out and a runner on first. First pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Kiner-Falefa getting the start at third after a day off yesterday. Has actually played a lot at second recently. Ernie Clement drew 6 consecutive starts at third base. The 1-0, Springer takes off. Swing and a fly ball foul off to the right. Springer retreats. It's 1-1.
And I believe that was a hit and run. I was thinking that in my head. This would be a good time to hit and run. Richie Palacios is shaded towards second. Yandy Diaz is holding on George Springer. He took off there, and IKF swung at a pitch that he probably shouldn't have swung at.
Yeah, definitely a hit and run. Springer was looking to the plate the whole time. 1-1, Springer doesn't go, and IKF hits it softly on the ground to second. Picked up by Caballero. Over to Palacios, 1 back to first. Double play, and that'll end the inning. 6-4-3. The Rays turn it to end the inning, but the Blue Jays jump on front. It's Daniel Vogelbach's first Blue Jays home run that has Toronto up 1-0 after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're two men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think two men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men and a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center. Or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I was brought up in the front row, that fire and brimstone.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Brockville and Cornwall. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Top of the third inning, Ben Rortvedt leading off for the Tampa Bay Rays. Blue Jays up 1-0 after Daniel Vogelbach's homer, and Rortvedt takes strike one on a slider from Alek Manoah. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Manoah's allowed one base runner through 2 innings. His 0-1 is bounced up the middle and through the hole into right center field, a base hit. For the .286 hitter in Rortvedt, that's another knock as he's taken over lead catcher responsibilities for this team after Rene Pinto's demotion. Now the number 9 hitter, Jose Caballero from Panama, steps in. Alek Manoah asks for a new baseball. In his first year over from the Mariners, Caballero hitting in the 260s right now. First pitch. Low ball 1. Runner on first after the first Rays hit of the day. Nobody out. Manoah's pitch. In there, 1-1. A palpable buzz around the ballpark right now after the first Blue Jays Vogelbomb of the year. Manoah's 1-1. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. Front door Caballero.
Are you disappointed that you haven't really got to say that at all, the Vogelbomb?
I think the floodgates are open. I think
just rolls right off the tongue.
The Vogelbomb is active now. 1-2. Slider down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rortvedt with 1 stolen base this year stands on first. Takes a 3-step lead, held on by Guerrero. 2-2 to Caballero. Off the handle foul over the netting behind home plate. Rays fought off a ton of pitches last inning from Manoah. He's up to 41 on his pitch count with nobody out in the third. 2-2. Fouled off again. In his last start, Manoah was ridiculously efficient. Got a couple double plays and went through 6 innings on 57 pitches. Ended the day with 78 in 7 innings. Rortvedt bounces around at first. Manoa's 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Elevated fastball for the first strikeout for Manoa today.
Well, I think the biggest thing with his start so far is he's not really hitting his spots. Yes, he's throwing strikes. Yes, he's getting outs, but he hasn't really been hitting Alejandro Kirk's glove with high efficiency. That's why you see a lot of pitches. That's why you've seen a couple of base runners. Not as sharp as he was in his last start, but still effective.
That was actually his second strikeout also. Pardon me. Struck out Richie Palacios. First pitch to Yandy Diaz. Diaz ducks out of the way. It was a borderline pitch, called a ball, 1-0.
And just like that fastball right there, Alejandro was set up on the outside part of the plate. Alek Manoah threw it to the inside part of the plate. Still a good pitch.
1-0. Hit in the air, right field. Springer freezes, backs up, shields his eyes from the sun with his right hand, and makes the catch with his left. 2 down. Springer was crouched down, and it might be a difficult sun today with this 1:30 start here in downtown Toronto.
That was a tough play. George Springer, so good. He was probably taught at a young age how to catch a ball that's in the sun. He's looking directly at the sun, shading it with his throwing hand, even with those sunglasses on. Wow.
Nice play by Springer in right, and now the first pitch to Rays right fielder Josh Lowe is low, 1-0. 2 outs in the top of the third. Ben Rortvedt on first, 1-0 Blue Jays. Rortvedt bouncing around a ton, and the 1-0. High, ball 2. Manoa not really reacting to the movement of Rortvedt, who's been shuffling early a lot, bouncing 1 step forward, 1 step back, trying to get the attention of the pitcher at first. Manoa's 2-0. Low ball 3. Alek Manoah gets a new baseball, palms it up just off to the first base side of the rubber, and now steps right in the middle of it. Looking down the mound at Josh Lowe. 3 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Back of third. IKF going into left field. Called off by Dalton Varsho, who makes the play and ends the inning. Manoa strands the leadoff single and keeps the Blue Jays in front. It's 1-0 Toronto, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race from North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
Skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the government of Alberta.
When you buy 2 pairs of glasses for $149 at Specsavers and choose sunglasses as your second pair, we'll upgrade you to polarized lenses for free, saving you $120. And polarized lenses are way more fun. Not only do they provide full UV protection, they also filter out reflective glare, which makes them a great choice if you like hiking, biking, boating, driving, skiing, golfing. You know, all the fun stuff.
Get free polarized lenses with your second pair. Only available for a limited time. Conditions apply. Visit specsavers.ca for details.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Sprinting back, Varsho curling at the track. He leaps, and he made the catch!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Today is Super Sunday, and J-Scare is giving away 2 premium club tickets for an upcoming game every half hour until 5 p.m. That's 5 chances to win Jays tickets, plus the jackpot over $250K. Go to bluejays.com/5050 from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Alejandro Kirk takes the first pitch at the bottom of the third inning. It's low, ball 1. 1-0 Blue Jays over Rays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Aaron Savali into the wind for Tampa Bay. His pitch. Kirk takes it down again, 2-0. One mistake for Savali in 2 innings so far. Gave up a home run to Daniel Vogelbach in the second. That's why it's 1-0 Toronto. Here in the third, his 2-0. Kirk takes outside, 3-0. It's been a struggle at the plate so far for Blue Jays catcher Alejandro Kirk, batting 188, but 10 walks to 13 strikeouts. He's kept that part of his game constant, and the 3-0 pitch is high, ball 4. A leadoff walk for Kirk.
Not really a difficult walk for Kirk there. Outside of that last pitch, not really any competitive pitches from Savali. Fortunately for the Blue Jays, they have the leadoff runner on.
That'll bring up Kevin Kiermaier. Blue Jays center fielder came up with a hit yesterday and in 3 tries, was pinch hit for late. First pitch, Kiermaier bunts it and pops it up foul third base side, but he got it onto the side warning track, so it lands, and it's 0-1.
I don't know if that was a true sacrifice. Probably not, the way he came out of the batter's box there, but I like the idea anyways.
Something Kiermaier did a lot in the spring, tried to bunt for base hits at times. Third baseman Isaac Paredes on the infield turf. Kirk on first, no outs. The pitch. Swing and a miss by Kiermaier, 0-2. Kiermaier hitting .230 this year. Average over 300 in May. He's just missed time twice in May. Once on the injured list and then once out with illness. 0-2. High, ball 1, and Rortvedt took a look over at first with a thought maybe to throw behind Kirk, who scampered back.
Well, from up here, it looked like there was absolutely no reason for Rortvedt to do that.
He's keeping busy back there. 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Looked high of the zone, although Rortvedt, typically known as one of the better framers in baseball, yanked it down, and Kiermaier is set down for round number 1.
Well, Kiermaier did not like that call. That's above the strike zone there. He gets rung up. He immediately says something, mutters something under his breath, and takes a long time to get back to that dugout.
He's down the steps, and at the plate is Davis Schneider. 1 out, 1 on the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Aaron Savali working from the stretch. The 6'2 right-hander has his glove on his left side. Now comes set above the belt. 1-0. Called strike at the knees. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Home plate is home plans. Score the run with Timbermart.ca. Find a major league selection of winning plays for house, garage, and backyard sheds. Visit Timbermart.ca and win the game with Canada's Building Center. 1-1 pitch, called a strike. That looked outside. This is a big zone. It's 1-2. Schneider stands pretty close to the plate already, and even that one was far away. Stood up tall is the Blue Jays second baseman. 1-2. Swing and a fly ball, shallow left center. Charging in DeLuca, and cutting in front of him, Randy Arozarena makes the catch. 2 down. So 2 straight outs after the leadoff walk, and the Blue Jays send Dalton Varsho up, trying to extend the inning. Varsho is 0 for 1 today with a fly out to left. Right on left pitch. Fouled off the mask of Rortvedt, 0-1. Varsho's hitting .210 this year. Leads the team, though, in home runs with 7 and in RBIs with 21. Knocked in a pair of runs yesterday on a double to center field in the 5th. The 0-1. Late swing and a foul off to the right on the ground. 0-2. Second time through the order for the Blue Jays. That was when they got their offense going, or actually it was kind of half second time and half third time for the Blue Jays through the order yesterday. when they got their 4 runs in the 5-4 loss. Savali's going to step off. .40 pitches for the Rays right-hander. 2 outs and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the third. Kirk on first. 0-2 to Varsho. Foul tipped into the glove. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Aaron Savali, who strands the leadoff walk. And after 3, it's 1-0 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Deadheads across the land high step into Las Vegas.
Everybody's dancing.
As Dead & Company's long, strange trip residency at the Sphere begins. Hear live pre-show broadcasts from the Dead Forever experience.
Let it shine, let it shine.
Throughout the weekend on the Grateful Dead Channel 23 and the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race from North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah!
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah!
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 4th inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. A little discussion before the inning. Stu Sherwater talking with both dugouts. I believe that the Blue Jays accidentally got an extra warm-up pitch, but Sherwater taking responsibility for it behind the plate. No violation, you might have heard him say. And now we'll start the top of the 4th. First pitch to Randy Arozarena. Big swing and a foul back. 0-1. A bulked-up Arozarena has provided power for the Rays this year, but not the same average as last year. 0-1 is outside, 1-1. Hitting in the 160s right now, 0 for 1 today. He bulked up, at least he said so in the spring, because he tailed off in the second half last year. 1-1 pitch hit on the ground. Picked up by Kiner Falefa, skip and throw to first. And there's 1 out.
Alek Manoah got away with one right there. Just a spinning slider on the inside part of the plate. Arozarena usually tattoos those balls. And he's just a little bit out in front. Hits a weak ground ball to IKF at third base. He scoops it up, makes the easy play.
Big first out for Manoa, who now faces the DH left-handed hitter Jonathan Aranda in Game 6 of Aranda's season. First pitch. Called strike 1. Aranda's a 2015 signing by the Rays out of Mexico. Made his debut in June of 2022. Here's the 0-1. Low 1 ball, 1 strike. And actually, he came up in a corresponding move when Kevin Kiermaier hit the injured list with hip discomfort at the time. Required surgery, and Kiermaier ended up playing his next games for the Blue Jays after missing the rest of the 2022 season. 1-1. Outside, 2-1.
Alek Manoah is just starting to get that extension. You can see it. He's really finishing his pitches, starting to hit his spots just a little bit better than he has in the last 3 innings.
His 2-1. At the top of the zone for strike 2.
And you can see that especially with the changeup. Not so much the command with the changeup, but the movement on the changeup. That tells me that he's getting the finish, and he's really finishing out front. That makes that changeup move a little bit more.
Manoa's got a big frame to work with. 6'6", the right-hander. Comes set, his 2-2. Found back into the netting. Manoa got Aranda to line out. It was a hard hit ball to left field in the second. Aranda in that debut 2022 season actually homered off Manoa in Toronto on September 13th, 2022. 2-2 pitch is set in the air to center. Kiermaier under it. He makes the catch. 2 down. Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. The former Tiger, Isak Paredes, about to step up. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the 4th. Right on right pitch. Called strike 1. Well, looking out of town on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard, the team the Blue Jays play next, the Chicago White Sox, are visiting the Bronx right now. It's 2-2, Chicago and New York in the 3rd. 0-1. Front door breaking ball for strike 2. He really froze Paredes there, who started the swing and then almost pulled back to duck out of the way.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch right there. Kind of starting at the front hip of Paredes and breaking back over the inner 3rd.
Hit Paredes in the 2nd inning. Manoa's 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Manoa barking at Paredes, fired up as he leaves the mound. He strikes out the Rays' 3rd baseman and completes his 4th scoreless frame in a row. Middle of the 4th, 1-0 Blue Jays over Rays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
When Blue Jays left-hander Yusei Kikuchi strikes a batter out, fans get to witness the Kikuchi K-Strut. What is the K-Strut? It's an arms-flailing, feet-kicking, fist-pumping, head-spinning, energy-recoiling, absolutely electric strikeout celebration that, well, you just gotta see it.
He's something else, man.
On Wednesday, May 22nd, strut down to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans get a Yusei Kikuchi bobblehead. What do you say? Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Young Savage, why you trapping so hard?
Hey, this is Kevin Biggio. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 Blue Jays. Aaron Cifali's pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is high and tight. Ball 1. 3-4-5 for the Blue Jays this inning. Bichette hitting after Guerrero, then Daniel Vogelbach bats 3rd. 1-0. Swing and a miss by Vlad. 1 ball and 1 strike.
There's that swing that we saw earlier in the season where he's swinging at a pitch ahead in the count that he should not be swinging at, a slider that started off the plate.
The 1-1. Guerrero swings and lines the ball to left. Sinking down for a base hit. Rosarena pulled up last second. And the Blue Jays have their 2nd hit of the day and 2nd leadoff base runner in as many innings.
He shattered his bat on that swing, but he's so strong, he just muscles it out into left field in front of a Rosarena. And even though he broke his bat, still a good swing. I think it was just the pitch that he swung at that made him break his bat. He is really on a tear right now.
Guerrero leads off first. Here's Bichette. First pitch. Outside, ball 1. Well, and this is the time you want to do it against Savali. Second time through the order. Savali holds batters to a 208 average first time through. They hit 308 this year, second time through. The 1-0. Bichette hits it off the mound up the middle. Fielded by the second baseman, Palacio. Steps on the bag. Throw to first in the dirt. Picked by Diaz. That's a 4-3 double play.
That is a backbreaker right there. A great pick by Yandy Diaz at first base. From a terrible throw from Palacios at second, but that's a backbreaker for the Blue Jays.
Diaz has made a handful of nice plays at first in this series. He's looked pretty good. 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Blue Jay lead thanks to this guy hitting right now. Daniel Vogelbach with a 394-foot homer to right center. His first time up. He takes the first pitch he sees, the second time up high for ball 1.
I don't know if you heard that, but that was just a little bit louder of an applause for Vogie coming up to the plate.
Hey, you earn it. The 1-0. High and outside, 2-0. With the questions around Vogelbach in the lineup, perhaps it's because Savali's also struggled against lefties. Came into this game hitting 284 off him as opposed to righties who hit 250, and a lot more power for lefty hitters this year against Savali. But the 2-0 pitch is in there against Vogie, 2-1. Vogie hates that call and makes his opinion known. That one was well above the zone.
Well, that makes two of us. That was a terrible call. That wasn't even close to that strike zone. Vogie, though, wears his emotions on his sleeves, lets everybody know what he's thinking.
And now the Rays dugout is barking. Sherwater and Vogie are talking some sort of clock procedure right now. Kevin Cash at the top step was talking to Stu Sherwater. 2-1. Called strike on the inside edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I hope they were also talking about the strike zone as well. It's been a little bit large today.
It has been both sides, but yeah, it's a big zone. It's a getaway day zone. Savali into the line with 2 outs, the 2-2. Vogelbach slaps it down the left field line. Base hit, rolling into the corner. Vogelbach around first. He's chugging for second, and he'll get there with a 2-out stand-up double.
Just a great piece of hitting there. A cutter on the outside part of the plate. He just drops the barrel. Hits a good line drive into the corner and left, and he barrels around first base, almost walking into second base.
No throw came in for the Rays, as Arozarena had to go deep into the corner to dig it out. Runner on second, 2 outs. George Springer up the pitch. Check swing. The pitch was high, ball 1.
Don't look now, but Vogie is just a triple and a single away from the cycle.
Look, if Benji Molina did it, anything is possible. Blue Jays have 3 cycles in their franchise history. 1-0. Springer drives it. Left center field. That ball's trouble, and it's down on the track. Vogelbach around third. He'll race into the plate. Springer at second, pumping his fist. It's a 2-out double, and it's 2-0 Blue Jays.
George Springer absolutely drilled that sinker from Savali. Sinker leaks over the inside part of the plate. George Springer drills it into the gap, scoring a run. He's standing on second base, pumping his fist, screaming at that dugout. That's got to feel good for him.
Big leadoff first for Springer. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is up. 12 RBIs this year. 2 outs in the pitch. Called strike. Looked off the plate away, but it's 0-1.
And the Blue Jays just did that with 2 outs.
Yeah,
nobody on.
Toronto had a leadoff single, then a ground ball double play, then back-to-back doubles. 0-1. IKF chops it to third, and it gets by. Isak Paredes into left. Springer around third. He'll score. It's 3-0 Toronto. That one sneaking past Paredes.
Not the way they drew it up, but the Blue Jays will take it. They go ahead 3-0 on the weak ground ball from IKF. sneaks just under the glove of Isak Paredes over there at third base, and George Springer scampers home.
Looked like Paredes, maybe mindful of the speed of IKF, was looking toward first as he went to field the ball, and it just kind of flapped his glove as it bounced off it and got through into left.
Yeah, that's a play that he probably should make, something that he's done a million times in his career. Looked like he pulled up a little bit. You're right. He was worried about the speed of IKF and thought about him before he actually gained control of that baseball.
That's an error on Paredes. And the Blue Jays take advantage of it to score another run to this inning. And it's 3-0 Toronto, bottom of the fourth. Here comes Alejandro Kirk, who walked on 4 pitches his first time up. Runner on first, 2 outs. First pitch. Inside, ball 1.
I wouldn't mind if IKF takes off right here, tries to steal second, gets in scoring position with Alejandro Kirk, especially with 2 outs.
It's not a terrible hit and run combination either. Kirk's a high contact bat. 1-0. Down and away, 2-0.
And there is a big hole on the right side of that infield. Alejandro Kirk loves to shoot that hole. Yandy Diaz is holding on IKF at first, and Richie Palacios is shaded towards second. That's a good idea right there.
2-0 pitch. High ball 3. Snap throw to first, and a dive back in safe by IKF. Yandy Diaz never applied the tag. Seven pitches from Savali to Kirk in this game so far, all balls. Here's the 3-0. Finally in there for a strike. 3-1. IKF walks off first. 3.5 step lead. 3-1 pitch. Down the middle for strike 2.
I thought IKF was going to take off there. His lead got a little bit bigger. He got a little bit lower. Kind of giving it away.
Now he's going to take off for sure. 3-2 and 2 outs. He's on first. It's 3-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the fourth. Savali kicks, IKF goes, and the 3-2 pitch is outside, ball 4. Kiner Falefa gets second base for free. Kirk up to first with his second walk of the day. And the longtime Ray Kevin Kiermaier gets an opportunity to hit with 2 on and 2 out.
Big AB right here. Blue Jays are up 3-0. They would love to go up 4-0. Guy on second base, 2 outs.
Left-handed hitter Kiermaier awaits the first pitch. And it hit him on the foot. Rolled all the way to the backstop. IKF still running, but this play is dead. Home plate umpire Stu Sherwater has his hands up in the air. And I think what IKF's doing, which is smart, is if they were to challenge and overturn, he wants to say that he touched the plate, but it doesn't look like the Rays will challenge, so Kiermaier takes first, and the bases are loaded.
And if nothing else, Ben, it was exciting for the fans.
Yeah, they got a cheer.
Now you have the bases loaded for one of the Blue Jays' hottest hitters in Davis Schneider.
And nowhere to put him. Before this at-bat, Ben Rortvedt is going to go out to the mound. Earlier this inning, pitcher coach Kyle Snyder already went out. It's been a long inning for Savali. He's faced 7 Blue Jays hitters. He should be out of the inning, but a 2-out error by Isak Paredes allowed IKF to reach and George Springer to score. Now IKF's on third. After a walk, Kirk is on second, and after a hit batter, Kiermaier is on first. Rortvedt retreats from the mound back to the plate, where Schneider's taking some golf swings and staring out at the fielders, who are positioned to the pull side in the infield. Second baseman Palacios behind the bat. Schneider, like you said, a hot hitter. .321 over his last 16 games with 9 extra base hits and 10 walks. With the bases loaded, Savali looking in, kicks, delivers. Called strike 1, a pitch that looked well outside. Two grand slams this year for the Blue Jays. One from Varsho here at Rogers Center, one from Vladdy in Washington. Savali's going to step off. .3-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs and the bases loaded. Bottom of the fourth. The 0-1. Down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's quieted down before the everybody clap your hands at Rogers Center. People locked in right now on this battle between Savali and Schneider. The 1-1. Swing and a fly ball down the right field line. Slicing toward the seats. Diaz way back. Reaches for the over-the-shoulder catch and doesn't make it. It was a tough play for Diaz. Running back to his left, looking into the sun, and he couldn't corral it, so it's 1-2.
Yeah, he had to deal with the sun. He had to deal with that short wall out there in foul territory in right field. I'm sure he was thinking about all of the above, but luckily for Davis Schneider, he gets another chance.
It's the first time the Rays are here with the new dimensions at Rogers Center. There would have been no threat of a wall last year where Diaz was running, but much less foul territory this year. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Schneider. The pitch from Savali. Up near his head, he tumbles out of the way and now is on the seat of his pants in the batter's box. Ball 2. They're going to stop the pitch clock for a moment and dust off the plate just to let Davis Schneider recollect himself. Don't think it would have hit him, but it got real close. Schneider crumbled to get out of the way. Now he's back up, facing a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, ball 3. All 3 runners will have a running start on the pitch. The bases are loaded for the Blue Jays. IKF on third, Kirk on second, and Kiermaier on first. 3-0 Toronto, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Savali rocks back and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Savali pitches out of the trouble to end the inning. The Blue Jays do score 2 runs on 3 hits, benefit from an error, and leave 3 on. It's 3-0 Toronto after 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Nobody covered the 2024 schedule release like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Baltimore Ravens and Kansas City Chiefs will kick off the 2024 season.
What a night. The 2 best quarterbacks in all of football.
Jets at 49ers.
This Jets football team, they want to win. They want to win now.
NFL VP of Broadcasting, Mike North.
Christmas Wednesday. I think we picked the 4 right teams. Hopefully by the time we get there, we're proven right.
SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Network.
The 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance, insurance with a heart so big, it shows. 3-0 Blue Jays, and the first pitch by Alek Manoah is low to Richie Palacios. 1 ball and no strikes. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Andrew Adams, and Tom Young, our technical directors. Nick Blackmore, producer. Show Ali, our host. The 1-0. Hooked foul and deep down the right field line. 1 ball, 1 strike. Take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard in a sec. 1-1. High ball 2. A lot going on today, but Chris, I wanted to go back to yesterday for a second. Did you happen to see at all what happened in the Angels-Rangers game?
I did not.
Well, I'll tell you what happened in a moment. The 2-1. popped up behind the plate. Kirk gets rid of the mask, heads toward third. IKF calls him off, makes the squeeze. 1 out. So on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out of Town scoreboard yesterday, the Angels and Rangers went 13 innings in Texas. And the Angels, and maybe this will make some Blue Jays fans feel better, went 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position in the game. That did include a diving stop or a sliding stop by Marcus Semien in the 13th inning to prevent the go-ahead run. Pitch to Johnny DeLuca with 1 out is called strike 1. And then the Rangers, the Angels got out of a ton of jams and extras, and the Rangers would win. It was first and third. The Angels intentionally walked Corey Seager to load the bases. 0-1. Fouled off 0-2. There was 1 out, so they set up some forces. They avoid Seager. Nathaniel Lowe's coming up. And then they hit Lowe with the first pitch that they throw to him, lose the game. Lowe looked angry. He threw a hand in the air like, this is how I have to walk it off, and the Rangers ended up winning. But 0 for 18, I just thought that was remarkable. Here's the 0-2. And that one hit DeLuca. He'll head down to first.
Well, yeah, no, that doesn't make me feel any better. Going 0 for 18.
Well, it's them, not the Blue Jays.
No, I know, but it doesn't make me feel any better.
Okay. So you're not the type of person who, like, would watch reality TV and be like, well, some things I don't like about my life are but, you know, it's not that.
No.
Noted. Noted. Here's Ben Rortvedt, former Twin and Yankee. First pitch. Bunts it foul, 0-1. Runner on first, 1 out, top of the 5th inning. Blue Jays up 3-0. Speaking of the Twins, a piece of news on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out of Town scoreboard. Former Blue Jay Jay Jackson was designated for assignment by the Minnesota Twins today. Struggled early on in his Twins career. 0-1. Slapped foul to the left, 0-2.
You know who could use him?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How would you feel about that?
So we saw him recently against the Minnesota Twins, and he doesn't have the same fastball. His fastball was 90, 91-ish. I believe it was like 93 to 95 last year when at his best. So I didn't love that, but why not? Why not take a flyer on him?
Manoa steps off the mound for a moment. Especially, you know, if a minor league deal were in play, something where, hey, you go work a couple things out at Buffalo. I mean, for Jackson, he clearly worked well with the pitching staff last year. It got him a major league deal this year when he had been on minor league deals or overseas in previous seasons. 0-2 to Rortvedt. Hit down the right field line and falling into the seats. Still 0-2.
Look, if the Blue Jays go out and they either claim him or they work out some sort of trade with the Minnesota Twins, the season isn't saved for the Blue Jays. He's not. He's more of a Band-Aid guy than anything else. But I wouldn't mind it.
0-2. Runner takes off from first. Pitch is low. Throw down to second on a hop. And it's picked by Bichette, but DeLuca is in there safely. I believe the glove of Bichette went back as he received the pitch and actually hit DeLuca up near the mouth. He's checking his mouth right now to make sure he's not cut. It's the 4th stolen base of the season for the speedy center fielder.
That was a good job from DeLuca. Alek Manoah is normally pretty quick to the plate. Actually, he was pretty quick on that pitch there, but DeLuca gets a good jump. And you're right, yeah, he's speedy.
DeLuca in scoring position with 1 out. A look back from Manoa, and the pitch to Rortvedt. Called a ball, and that is unbelievable with the strike zone today. That pitch is center cut, fully in the bottom of the zone, and Stu Sherwater says, no, I'd like it a little bit higher.
That was the perfect changeup right at the bottom of the strike zone. Come on.
Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. If Manoa can't rely on them, he'll do it himself. There are 2 down.
That one was even better. Started in the strike zone, had way more depth to it, a lot of movement. You could see how frustrated Pete Walker is in that dugout. He fights for his pitchers, but that changeup right there, his best one of the day, and he saved it for Ben Rortvedt.
4 strikeouts for Manoa, 2 outs in the top of the 5th, and Jose Caballero's up with Johnny DeLuca on second. Manoa peeks at the runner, 1 more look, and the pitch. Slider hit on the ground to third. On 3 bounces, picked up by IKF. Sidearm throw to first in time. That's the inning. The hit batter left stranded. 5 scoreless for Alek Manoah, and a 3-0 Blue Jays lead, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's PGA Championship Week on Sirius XM, and you can hear all the action on PGA Championship Radio.
Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
We have coverage from Valhalla Golf Club with analysis, player interviews, and play-by-play coverage.
Scotty Scheffler just makes an eagle at the 8.
Hear the 2024 PGA Championship on PGA Championship Radio, Channel 92 when you're in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it off, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is Sirius XM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new Sirius XM app.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 5th inning, Blue Jays and Rays at Rogers Center. It's 3-0 Toronto. Dalton Varsho leads off for the Blue Jays. First pitch from Aaron Savali. Varsho shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a called strike, 0-1. Varsho was the only batter that didn't come up for the Blue Jays last inning when Toronto scored 2. The 0-1 inside.
I didn't mind that Dalton Varsho showed bunt, and on that first pitch, Richie Palacios is playing way back at the cut of the outfield grass.
1-1 inside, 2-1.
And we all know that Dalton Varsho loves to drag bunt, loves to take that ball with him, and he's very good at it as well.
Yeah, the Rays have the third baseman Paredes in, but the infielders on the right are not in, and that's where Varsho wants to bunt. 2-1. Takes the pitch high, 3 balls and 1 strike. Don't know if he didn't like the pitches or just decided to abandon the strategy to bunt after fouling off the first, or taking the first one for a strike rather. 3-1. Varsho hits it on the ground, foul, full count. Oh for 2 today, but Varsho perhaps in the midst of getting hot once again. 2 extra base hits, 4 RBIs in the last 4. 3-2 pitches, smashed foul into the camera well. And it's still a full count.
That was all Dalton Varsho could do with that pitch. A good cutter on the inside part of the plate, almost in on the hands. He just pulls the hands through and hits it into the camera well there and right on the foul territory.
3-2 once more. Fouled off the glove of Rortvedt. Couldn't make the squeeze, so Varsho remains up there after seeing 6 pitches. Or make that the 7th. Rortvedt sets up, down and away. The pitch. Hit on a line. Diving catch by Diaz. Behind first base. Takes extra bases away from Dalton Varsho. 1 down.
That was an incredible play from Yandy Diaz with the Superman dive. Taking away a double, a sure double from Dalton Varsho. You can see the disappointment, the frustration on his face. What a play from Yandy Diaz.
So 1 out in the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Called strike 1. Let's look at the injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Prima Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prima Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prima will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. Swing and a miss from Vlad. It's 0-2. No updates provided by the Blue Jays today. John Schneider doesn't meet with the media on Sundays, but a rehab appearance has gone down already in Rochester with the Buffalo Bisons visiting the Rochester Red Wings. First, the 0-2 to Vlad. Down and away, ball one. Chad Green took the mound for the first time today since dealing with that lat-related strain that's kept him out for a handful of weeks. And he pitched a scoreless innings, gave up a leadoff double, but then pitched around it, struck out a batter, threw just 9 pitches to get through his inning. 1-2. High, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, speaking of guys that the Blue Jays need, we were just talking about Jay Jackson, but Chad Green, wow.
They could certainly use that injection back into their bullpen. 2-2. Vladdy hits it sharply on the ground, past the dive of Paredes into left field. Make it a 2-hit day for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's on first with 1 out.
And another hard hit from Vlad. He is just ripping the cover off the baseball. We haven't seen him really hit for power yet, but that will come. I like what I'm seeing from Vlad. I don't want him to change the way he's swinging right now, changing his approach, trying to hit for more power. Just hit that ball on a line, just like he's doing right now.
Hit that 108 miles an hour. Here's Bo Bichette 0 for 2. First pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball to third. Picked up by Paredes. Throws to second for 1. Back over to first. Inning-ending double play. 1 hit for the Blue Jays. No runs, no one left. And they're up 3-0 after 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The Fork and Knifer, Splatterer, Condiment Queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Barrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance. Insurance with a heart so big, it shows. Top of the 6th, top of the order for the Rays. Yandy Diaz leads off. First pitch from Alek Manoah is down and away, ball 1. Appreciate you spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Very nice day in Toronto. Maybe it's the start of cottage season in Ontario and around the country. 1-0. Check swing. Peel down to first. No swing, and the pitch was low, so it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Did you ever have a cottage growing up?
No. Occasional rental. The 2-0. Inside ball 3. I was playing baseball growing up, so as you certainly were. So a lot of the summer weekends, that's tournaments. Those times are taken up. 3-0. Called strike. Diaz had started to walk away from the plate. That pitch was a little high. It was borderline. Not the most egregious call of the day, but Diaz has a discussion anyway and steps back to the plate. Manoa sets, rocks, delivers. That one definitely outside, ball 4.
I don't love that pitch selection right there. You're down. You're behind in the count, 3-1. You're up 3-0 in the ball game. You don't want to walk him. Yes, it's Yandy Diaz, but just throw a good fastball down in the zone, see if he gets himself out. But instead, you pull off on a slider and yank it and throw it way outside and walk him.
First walk of the day for Manoa, although he's hit 2 batters as well. First pitch to Josh Lowe, called strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. The 0-1. In there, strike 2. Did you ever have a cottage growing up?
I did not. I was always a baseball guy too. My parents were Cape Cod people. If they ever wanted to take a vacation in the summer, they were Cape Cod people.
It's cottage-y. It's not the same.
It's very different.
Yeah. Fair. 0-2. Smoke to right field. Springer going back at the track, and he makes the catch just as he gets onto the warning track. That was a near miss. Josh Lowe nearly sent it out of the yard, but instead it's the first out, and Diaz remains at first.
And I think to expand on the cottage thing, my parents are from Montreal, so they didn't...
Not a cottage place?
Yeah, they didn't grow up as Ontario cottage goers.
It's fair. Randy Arozarena stands in. 1 out and a runner on first. First pitch. Called strike 1.
He has locked it back in since Yandy Diaz.
We've seen the fire and competitiveness from Manoa already today. Barked a little bit with Isaac Paredes after striking him out to end the 4th. 0-1 pitch down and away, 1-1. The Blue Jays have needed everything they've gotten so far from Manoa. They've hit a bit today. Lead 3-0 in the 5th. Or pardon me, in the top of the 6th now. 1-1. Hit in the air, center field. Backing up Kiermaier into the strip of shade in deep center. He gets under it and squeezes it for the second out.
And Alek Manoah has quietly given up just 1 hit over his 5 2/3 innings. He's been incredible today. A little bit erratic in the first couple of innings, but he's settled down quite nicely.
4 base runners so far, 2 hit batters, a walk, and a bouncing single up the middle by Ben Rortvedt, which came to lead off the 3rd. He walked the leadoff hitter here in the 6th, Yandy Diaz. Here's Jonathan Aranda now with 2 outs. First pitch. Bounce to the plate, blocked by the glove of Kirk, who lost his mask scrambling for it, 1-0. Kirk tosses the ball away, and with that time, we'll look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, where the Red Sox are destroying the Cardinals right now in St. Louis. 9-1. The Red Sox jumped in front 3 batters into the game when Canadian Tyler O'Neill hit his 11th home run of the season. 1-0 to Jonathan Aranda. Swing and a miss. Late swing there on the sinker. 1-1.
Outside of Giancarlo Stanton, maybe Aaron Judge, Vlad, I think Tyler O'Neill is the guy that I want to see during BP.
I think Tyler O'Neill might squat the most in Major League Baseball. Like, if you even got those guys, the 1-1 called strike 2, and got everyone in a weight room, and they never do this because this is like ripe for injuries, but just ask everyone to squat their max, I think O'Neill wins.
Well, it's either him or Yandy Diaz, that's for sure.
True. Arana asks for time, adjusts his batting gloves, and steps back in. He's 0 for 2 today. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Yandy Diaz on first. 3-0 Blue Jays, top of 6. The 1-2. Called strike 3. Fastball at the top of the zone. A scream from Manoa, who ends his 6th scoreless inning. 3-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
Conference Finals berths up for grabs on a Game 7 Sunday in the NBA. At 3:30 Eastern, the Knicks host the Pacers in the Eastern Conference. Then at 8 Eastern, it's Timberwolves at Nuggets in the West. Sirius XM NBA Radio has preview and play-by-play of both matchups on Channel 86 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
While you're listening to this game on Sirius XM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 6th inning, 3-0 Blue Jays. Daniel Vogelbach leads off. And Aaron Savali's first pitch. Inside, ball one. Vogelbach has been the driver of the offense today for the Blue Jays. Homered to open the scoring in the second, and then doubled in the fourth to start a 2-run rally. 1-0. Called strike at the top of the zone. Of Vogelbach's 6 hits so far this season, 4 of them extra base hits. 1-1 pitch is hit on a line to right. That's down for a base hit. Daniel Vogelbach's 3 for 3.
Guess what, Ben?
He's a triple away
he
from
is
the
a
cycle.
Triple shy of hitting for the cycle. Where does he have to hit it in order to get that cycle?
Space.
Someone falling down? Is that what he needs?
Daniel Vogelbach does have 1 career triple, for what it's worth. But we'll get to that and worry about it next time he's up. For now, it's George Springer, who's 1 for 1 with a double, an RBI, and a walk. He takes the first pitch inside, 1-0. Vogelbach with a leadoff first. No outs, and the 1-0. Big swing and a miss by Springer, 1-1. Savali kicks and delivers, and the 1-1 is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blue Jays moved George Springer down to the 6th spot. John Schneider said he's working on some things right now, and it was more beneficial to him and the team to have him out of the leadoff spot and a little further down. 2-1. Called strike 2-2. And the early returns, Springer picks up an RBI base hit yesterday, which was his first RBI since May 3rd, and then he knocks in another run today.
And I think the biggest thing with being dropped down in the lineup is there's just less pressure on him. He's not worried about carrying the load of the team.
2-2 pitch down and away, full count.
And yes, it might be a blow to the ego. I know that baseball players have big egos, especially a guy like that who's played a long time. But it's just part of the game.
And they did say Springer had no issue with it. Team first guy. 3-2. Bounce foul. And it is worth noting that Springer was also receptive to this last year when Whit Merrifield was off to a ridiculous July. The Blue Jays put Merrifield at the top of the order. Springer went to 5th most of the time there, hit 4th a little bit as well. And there was never any word of any problem with that either. 3-2 count, no outs. And the right-on-right pitch. Bounce foul again. Savali up to 92 pitches. Here's his 93rd. Fouled off once more. This is something Springer's done all year. He's given pitchers a lot of trouble when they try and strike him out.
Yeah, he's fouling off tough pitches. He'll get one over the heart of the plate. It's just a matter of taking advantage of it and not mishitting it. That's the most important thing. When you're fouling off tough pitches, eventually you're going to get a mistake. It's just whether you do damage with it or not.
Manuel Rodriguez warming up for the Rays. Pitch 9 of this at-bat comes down. And Springer spoils it again. A bouncer weakly hit to the left side. George Springer is going to get into double-digit pitches in this at-bat. A leadoff single by Vogelback has him on first. No outs. The full count pitch to George Springer once again. Outside, ball 4. A well-earned walk by Springer, and now 2 aboard for the Blue Jays with nobody out.
Well, he took some tough pitches, just like that slider just off the plate there from Savali, and he also fouled off some tough pitches.
Pitching coach Kyle Snyder walks slowly out to the mound. And they'll talk to Aaron Savali. We'll remind you that if you're looking to bring your group to a new space in the ballpark, fly up to the 400 level and land in the Jays Nest. The great new group space has its own concession stand, bar, arcade, games, and great views. For more information, visit bluejays.com/Jays Nest.
And the question now is, what are the Blue Jays and John Schneider going to do with this at-bat? There's runners on first and second, nobody out. Those are 2 huge runs out there. Do you want to put them into scoring position with 1 out? IKF is at the plate. He's very good with the bat. He can easily ground something through that right side. The question is, what does John Schneider want to do right here?
IKF does have 11 sacrifices in his career as well. Corners drawn in right now. Middle infield at double play depth. First and second, no outs, and IKF squares early, bunts it in fair territory to third. Both runners will advance. The throw on to first by the third baseman Paredes is there in time, and that's a very well-worked sacrifice by IKF. Second and third now with 1 out.
Well, that was executed to perfection. That was one of the better bunts I've seen in a while. Just deadens it out there just in front of home plate. And Vogie gets into third base safely. George Springer moves up to second. And now you have 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position, 2 big runs. And let's see what Alejandro Kirk can do with the bat.
He's going to have to do it against the new pitcher, Aaron Savali. After 5 1/3 innings is out of the game. Kevin Cash takes the ball, and Manuel Rodriguez, the right-handed reliever, is about to come in. With that, let's go over to today's host, 3-0 Blue Jays. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, don't forget we do have Jays Talk this afternoon. I will be solo today, so you can send me a text at any time, 590-590, name and location. The People's text line is always open, and I will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. You guys know the drill. Some head coaching news in the NHL. So first, if you missed the Leafs news from Friday, Craig Berube, the new head coach of the Leafs, his press conference will be Tuesday at 11 in the morning here on the East Coast. So if you're a fan of The Fan in Toronto, Tuesday's programming will be slightly altered. Blake Murphy with Jays Talk Plus will be 10 to 11 Eastern in the morning. Jeff Marek will get an extra hour. Jeff will start his show 11 a.m. Eastern and will cover the press conference live on his program. Other NHL head coaching news, perhaps also not a huge surprise, but following their defeat at the hands of the Rangers, the Carolina Hurricanes re-signing Rod Brind'Amour and his staff to multi-year extensions. The Hurricanes making it official with a press release earlier this afternoon. In the NBA playoffs, 2 games on the go tonight, both Game 7s. Both games will be on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 1. Game 7 of Knicks-Pacers goes today in New York. That'll be get going in about 15-20 minutes, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific tip-off at Madison Square Garden. Some injury updates, including both Josh Hart, who had the abdominal strain, and OG Anunoby, who had the strained hamstring, both of them playing. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, later tonight, Nuggets, Timberwolves in Colorado. We'll find out if Nikola Jokic will advance to the Western Conference Finals or if Anthony Edwards will do so for the first time when tip-off goes at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 1. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Alejandro Kirk standing in the batter's box. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The right-hander, Manuel Rodriguez, is on the mound right now for the Rays. Infield in, second and third. 3-0 Blue Jays with one out in the bottom of the sixth. First pitch to Kirk. Down and away, ball one. This is a big point in the game for the Blue Jays. They held a 4-0 lead yesterday, but could not hold on to it. Up 3-0 now, in an opportunity where a single probably scores two. And the 1-0 pitch is down and away, 2-0.
And the infield isn't all the way in. They're kind of playing mid-depth, kind of behind the infield grass. But yeah, you're right. This is a big turning point of this game.
2-0. Kirk slaps it down the right field line, slicing foul. And perhaps them playing kind of halfway to do with the speed of Daniel Vogelbach. He's unlikely to break for the plate on a ground ball that's hit at an infielder. It would have to really send a guy on a run for Vogelbach to try to advance.
Yeah, he's almost certainly not just going on contact. I'm sure if George Springer was on third base, he might be going on contact here. But Vogie, not one of the quicker guys on this roster.
Vogie on third, Springer on second, and the next pitch is hit on the ground, foul, just wide of the first base bag. 2-2. For Rodriguez, his 9th appearance of the year, the Rays righty has a 3.38 ERA. And he came into game one of this series and got 2 outs, gave up 1 hit. 2-2. Kirk fights it off, foul. Right-hander throws a slider, a sinker, and a four-seamer. About half of his pitches are going to be the slider, and the other half will be a mix of the 2 fastballs. Can hit the high 90s. He kicks and delivers. Kirk drives the ball, left field, fairly deep, backing up Arozarena, over his head, and bouncing into the wall. Vogelbach jogs home. Springer sprinted around third. He'll score. 2-run double. Alejandro Kirk, and it's 5-0 Blue Jays.
Arozarena was playing in case Alejandro Kirk hit a shallow fly ball there, and Alejandro Kirk drills a low line drive over the outstretched glove of Randy Arozarena in left field, and I guess that sack bunt really worked.
Here's Kevin Kiermaier with 1 out now and a runner on second. First pitch, outside, ball 1. Kiermaier, a 31st rounder by the Rays in 2010, played 914 games with Tampa Bay. 1-0. Swing and a miss. 3 gold gloves with the Rays, won a platinum glove with Tampa Bay as well, and was a big part of their run to the 2020 World Series where they lost to Justin Turner's Dodgers. 1-1. Outside, 2-1. It gets lost in the mix because the Dodgers won, but if the Rays had won that World Series, Kiermaier would have had a shot at World Series MVP. He hit .368 with 2 homers and played a great defensive center field. 2-1 is fouled off, 2-2. Randy Arozarena was also huge throughout that playoff run. He would have had a good shot as well. Kiermaier struck out and hit by a pitch today. 2-2. Foul tips it into the glove. Strike 3. Kiermaier goes down. There are now 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, you could hear the frustration on Kevin Kiermaier. Slowly walking back to that Blue Jays dugout, swinging through a tough slider from Rodriguez there, but I think he's just pulling off pitches a little bit too often, really pulling that right shoulder off, trying to hit homers, and that's just not his game.
First pitch to Davis Schneider, huge hack and a miss, strike 1. 5-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 6th inning. Toronto out hitting Tampa Bay 7-1 so far today. Kirk's on second with 2 down, and the 0-1 to Schneider. Sliced foul, 0-2. Davis Schneider searching for his first hit today. 0 for 3, a ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout. Behind in the count, 0-2. Rodriguez's pitch. In the dirt, ball 1. New baseballs, and the right-hander Rodriguez has one tucked in his glove on the rubber. 2 peeks at Kirk. The pitch. Down and away, ball 2. Manuel Rodriguez came on with 2 on and 1 out after the IKF bunt. Gave up the double to score 2 off the bat of Alejandro Kirk, then struck out Kiermaier. 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, squirts away from the catcher Rortvedt. Kirk takes off for third. He'll get there. And the Blue Jays have another base runner 90 feet away from the plate.
Well, that won't be a pass ball, but that isn't. I guess it is a pass ball.
Oh, they do. It hit the dirt, right before the glove. Maybe a pitch Rortvedt could have caught if he reached out a little bit more.
Well, I was going to say it deserves to be a pass ball.
3-2. Called strike 3. Rung up on a front door slider. Schneider goes down to end the inning. The Blue Jays add 2 on, though, on the Kirk double, and they lead 5-0 after 6 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck. 2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
How can Blue Jays closer Jordan Romano improve on his already iconic entrance from the bullpen? Tim Meza and Eric Swanson had their own thoughts.
Hear me out. We shoot you out of a cannon. Picture this. Gate opens and you ride in on a moose. One word, roller skate. Super trendy right now.
Romano's thoughts?
I appreciate the ideas, but I got this.
On Monday, May 20th, the first 15,000 fans will get a Jordan Romano blue replica jersey. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
So that's a no on the moose?
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning in downtown Toronto. Appreciate you tuning in today. It's the Blue Jays up 5-0 on the Tampa Bay Rays in the series finale. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Alek Manoah will look to complete 7 innings for the second straight start. He faces Isaac Paredes to start the inning. Then Richie Palacios and Johnny DeLuca, 5-6-7 for the Rays. The right-hander Manoa comes set, and his 91st pitch of the day is low ball 1.
And after Alek Manoah struck out Isaac Paredes earlier in the ballgame, he came bounding off the mound, screaming at Isaac Paredes, and I think Paredes was kind of baffled.
The 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Blue Jays do have Trevor Richards warming up right now. What do you think? Maybe it's if you keep guys off the bases, you stay in for Manoah, and if guys get on, maybe you come out?
I would love to see him finish this inning.
1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
He deserves it. After everything he's been through over the last year and a half, well, year plus, he deserves it.
Well, the Blue Jays helped him out, something they haven't done a ton this year. They added on some runs to give their pitcher a cushion. It's 5-0 Blue Jays here at the start of the 7th. The 1-2 to Paredes. Check swing, foul tip, back into the netting.
And we talked about it before the game. Every Alek Manoah start is just under a microscope. It's good or bad. It's always an entertaining game. There's so many talking points, good or bad.
1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And he knows that. He knows that people are talking about him, good or bad. He knows that everybody is interested in what he's doing. So, yes, he deserves to finish this ball game. Not the whole game, just this inning.
Whoa,
inning.
Here's his 96th pitch of the day. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gets Paredes again, and a stroll around the mound for Manoa. There's 1 down.
He is marching around that mound.
He's a demonstrative guy. You mentioned the exchange with Paredes, but for better or worse, that's the kind of guy he is when he was contending for Cy Youngs, dominating lineups. First pitch to Richie Palacios off the fist. A pop-up back of second, caught by Bichette in shallow center, and there are 2 outs.
I would love for him to strike out Johnny DeLuca and see how loud he can get.
Manoa pitch efficient once again. 6 2/3 so far, 97 pitches. Not quite what he did in his last start, but he struck out 4 more guys today. He's got 7 Ks on the day. 2 down and nobody on, top of the 7th. 5-0 Blue Jays. Right on right pitch to DeLuca. In there, strike 1. Quickly to look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Yankees have blown open their game with the White Sox. Chicago was once up 2-0. It's now 7-2 New York on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 0-1 pitch. In there again, strike 2.
Throw that fastball up, out of the zone. See if Johnny DeLuca swings through it.
2 strikeouts for Manoa on fastballs today. The 0-2. Went with the slider, missed down and away. Manoa has those 2 strikeouts on the fastball. He's got a couple strikeouts on the slider. 1 on the change. 6 Ks today for Manoa so far. 1-2 pitch. Inside, ball 2.
You could tell he's just a little bit tired, trying to do too much with that slider. That's why I wanted him to throw that fastball elevated. You can see he's trying to yank the slider.
101 pitches already for Manoa. The 2-2. Fouled back into the netting.
We've also seen Johnny DeLuca do damage on fastballs in this series. But those were fastballs that were middle, so if you can elevate this thing, he'll swing through it.
DeLuca hitting .375 off fastballs this year. 2-2. Foul tipped into the glove. Strike 3. A screaming flex from Alek Manoah, who strikes out his 7th of the day in 7 scoreless innings. 5-0 Blue Jays at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big. On this you can rely. No mountains too tall. For the strong boots to climb, I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Jordan Romano, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Bottom of the fifth inning. Blue Jays up 5-0 on the Rays. Dalton Varsho leads off against Manuel Rodriguez. Swings and lifts the first pitch to shallow right. Josh Lowe charging in, makes the catch. 1 out. Manuel Rodriguez in his second inning of work. He came in relief of Aaron Savali, whose day ended with 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs. He walked 4 and struck out 3. Savali also gave up 2 hits to this guy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's up right now in 2 for 3. First pitch. Down and away, ball 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, you had talked about how well Vladdy is hitting right now for contact, not wanting him to open up for more power. 1-0. Fouled off 1-1. Or maybe not change his swing, rather. Guerrero now hitting .287. It's the second best average, if the season were to stop today, of his career. Second best on-base percentage of his career back to 2021 as well. 1-1. Fouled off 1-2. Although he is running right now the lowest slugging percentage of his career.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. He hasn't hit many homers and he hasn't hit many extra base hits. But if you're watching his games and watching his swing is perfect right now. He is hitting the ball right on the screws, almost on a line every time. Yes, he hits a 45 million hopper through the right side or through the left side once in a while. But for the most part, he is hitting the ball on the screws, on a line, and that's what I want to see. I don't care if he hits home runs. I want to see that flat bat path. The home runs will come. The doubles in the gap will come.
The 1-2. Foul tipped into the glove. Strike 3. Guerrero goes down.
Those are the swings that you don't want. He's stopped swinging at those sliders that start off the plate and break away. He did that so often earlier on in the season when he was struggling. Let's hope that doesn't creep back in. He's been swinging at a ton of good pitches recently on the inner part of the plate, pitches that he can drive.
Here's Bo Bichette searching for his first time aboard today. Takes a pitch low, 1-0. Quick peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Baltimore Orioles are up 5-3 on the Seattle Mariners. That's a rubber match in Baltimore. 1-0. Called strike. In that Orioles game, Luis Urias with a double for the Mariners and Julio Rodriguez with an RBI single to make it close. Swing and a miss by Bichette, and it's 1-2. Again, our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 2 outs, space is empty. Bottom of the 7th. Manuel Rodriguez, 25 pitches into his relief appearance, steals a 1-2 to Bichette and misses just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And you know what? The way that Daniel Vogelbach is hitting for power right now, doubles, homers, I don't think the Blue Jays really need Vlad to hit any homers.
He sets the table and Vogelbach drives him in. Vogelbach's on deck right now. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Rodriguez. The Blue Jays will go to the 8th with a 5-0 lead. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey everybody, I'm former IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe.
And I'm Indy 500 winner and current IndyCar driver Alexander Rossi. And we're the hosts of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi.
Look guys, it's May, which means the biggest race of the year, the Indianapolis 500, is almost here. So make sure you join us every Monday and Thursday throughout the month as we bring you all the content you could ever want to prepare you for the most exciting day in racing.
So download Off Track now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track. Sunday.
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race
From North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. In the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Gear up during City Connect Week by coming early to the ballpark on Wednesday, June 5th, when the Blue Jays take on the Baltimore Orioles, and you could snag some new gear for yourself. The first 15,000 fans will be walking away with an exclusive Blue Jays City Connect backpack giveaway. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/cityweek. Top of the 8th inning in Toronto, 5-0 Blue Jays, and Alek Manoah's day is done. The former Ray Trevor Richards is on for Toronto, facing off with Ben Rortvedt. First pitch. At the knees, strike one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and it's hard to understate how good Alek Manoah was today. 0-1. Hit foul, 0-2, or overstate rather. He was phenomenal. Manoah went 7 innings, gave up 1 hit, a single actually to Rortvedt, who's batting right now. No runs, 1 walk, hit 2 batters, and struck out 7 once a batter reached scoring position. 0-2. Rolled over softly to second. Gobbled up by Schneider. His throw on to first in time. 1 out.
Yeah, you're right, Ben. Early on in the ball game, we noticed he was a little bit erratic with the fastball, missing his spots by a good margin, but still effective, still throwing strikes. He was just throwing strikes, missing his spot. But after about halfway through the second inning, maybe into the third inning, he hit another gear and just was dotting everything up. That changeup had movement on it. The slider had bite. And like I said before the game, he is fun to watch, good or bad, and today was very good.
First pitch strike to Jose Caballero makes it 0-1 with 1 out and nobody on. Manoah also threw 69 strikes and 103 pitches. 0-1. Inside 1 ball, 1 strike, just about 67%. And in his 2 starts in Rogers Center, he had a tough season debut, but since he's looked really, really good. 1-1 in the dirt by Richards. A changeup there. Richards' fastball and change. It's a low 90s fastball and a high 70s changeup that drops like a splitter or a forkball out of the right-hander's hand. The 2-1. Caballero starts the swing but holds back. 3 balls and 1 strike as that pitch missed high. Shortstop's the leading base stealer in the American League, but he's 0 for 2 today, hasn't reached base. 3-1 pitch, fouled off, 3-2. 17 swipes for Jose Caballero.
Do you think it's outlandish to say that over the last 14 innings that Alek Manoah has pitched, it's probably close to the best he's looked in his career?
Best he's looked since like mid-22 for sure. I don't know that's outlandish. I mean, he hasn't given up an earned run in 14 innings. But he's starting to look a lot like himself. 3-2. Check swing on a high pitch. No, he went around his home plate umpire, Stu Sherwater. Caballero goes down on the 2/3 swing right there, and there are 2 down.
And Trevor Richards continuing where he left off. In his last 7 games, he's only given up 1 hit in 7 2/3 innings. He's been a solid reliever in that bullpen.
ERA below 3 on the season. This is his 19th appearance. First pitch to Yandy Diaz. Low ball 1. Back-to-back days for Richards. He threw 16 pitches yesterday, 10 so far today. Kicks and releases. Diaz bounces it off his foot and foul off to the left, 1-1.
And the biggest difference between Trevor Richards earlier on in the season and even when he struggled last year, later in the season, is the changeup starting down the middle of the plate and breaking out of the strike zone instead of kind of just floating from the top of the strike zone into the middle of the strike zone.
1-1 pitch lifted to center. Kiermaier shuffles to his right, steps in, shields from the sun, and makes the catch. 1-2-3 for Richards in the 8th. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Blue Jays up 5-0 on the Tampa Bay Rays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
When Blue Jays left-hander Yusei Kikuchi strikes a batter out, fans get to witness the Kikuchi K-Strut. What is the K-Strut? It's an arms-flailing, feet-kicking, fist-pumping, head-spinning, energy-recoiling, absolutely electric strikeout celebration that, well, you just gotta see it.
He's something else, man.
On Wednesday, May 22nd, strut down to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans get a Yusei Kikuchi bobblehead. What do you say? Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He keeps this game tied
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 5-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Daniel Vogelbach will lead off for the Blue Jays here in the home half of the 8th. Vogelbach is 3 for 3 today. A homer, a double, a single, 3 runs scored, and an RBI. First pitch from the new hurler is in there, strike 1. Phil Maton is on right now. Former Astro pitching here for the Rays. Vogelbach a triple away from the cycle, has a career triple when he was with Pittsburgh. 0-1 pitches in there, 0-2. And I went back to look just to see, and no one fell, anything like that. Because you had mentioned maybe, but it was at Wrigley Field. There's some awkward walls at Wrigley, and one in left center that points toward the left field corner. It banked off there and spilled into the corner. 0-2. Vogelbach hits it foul.
Well, unfortunately, in Toronto, it's pretty standard. There's nothing overly unique or difficult about this outfield fence. I think that someone would have to fall down for Bogey to get a triple.
Or like he hits a liner, and this is kind of a fall. You dive to make the catch. It bounces by you. One can dream. Here's the 0-2. Outside, ball 1.
And as much as I enjoy watching Alek Manoah, I really enjoy watching Daniel Vogelbach as well.
The Blue Jays were waiting for a day like this. 1-2. Outside, 2-2. Bogey hasn't gotten a ton of opportunity. That's well known. Perhaps out of rhythm to start the year a little bit. He's boosted his batting average by 67 points today, from 108 to 175. 2-2. Called strike 3. Vogelbach sags down that pitch, borderline at the bottom of the zone. He's finally retired today. Still a very impressive 3 for 4.
Yeah, very impressive. And he's actually looked pretty good over the last few games that he's played in. The swing is better. He's hit some balls hard. It's a tough pitch from Phil Maton right there. A slider down in the zone. And I think he was arguing about the call, walking away.
Here's the pitch to George Springer with one out. In the dirt, ball one. Good day for Springer as well. He has a walk, an RBI double, and another walk. He's scored twice today. (1-0) in the dirt, 2-0. These two never teammates, although both have a lot of history with the Astros. Maton joined in 2021 when Springer was already a Blue Jay. Next pitch. Called strike, and it's 2-1. Right-hander Maton has an ERA just over 5. Brought in on a 1-year, $6.25 million deal. 2-1 pitch hit on the ground, up the middles. Snagged by the second baseman Palacios, who throws over to first. 2 outs. There's no stop in the great times you'll have at The Stop. Located in the heart of the outfield district, there's no better place to stop in for a drink and a bite. And get in for just $20. Visit BlueJays.com/outfield district ticket. Two outs, bottom of the 8th inning, nobody aboard for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. First pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit very high, medium depth right center field. Johnny DeLuca makes the call, and the center fielder catches it to end the inning. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3 in the 8th, but they'll try and close out a victory in the top of the 9th. 5-0 Toronto. We'll take a quick step aside. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Explore the powerful AAPI voices.
Bleed me dry like a damn vampire.
Uplifting every corner of the culture.
All I wanna do is keep giving you.
On their own SiriusXM channel. AAPI Now.
It's a beautiful way to recognize Asians for all that we are.
AAPI Now. Throughout Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. On Channel 107 and in the new SiriusXM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and you're home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Top of the 9th inning at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays with a 5-0 lead. Welcome back to downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Zach Pop, the Brampton native, into the game for the Blue Jays to try and get the final 3 outs here. He'll face the middle of the order. First pitch to Josh Lowe, the number 2 hitter. Fastball outside, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, a former Marlin, as is Zach Pop, acquired by the Blue Jays in a trade in 2022. 1-0. Hit foul to the left side on the ground. For Pop, he makes his 41st appearance as a Blue Jay today. In 8 this year, a 2.5 ERA just about, 7 1/3 innings pitched.
Yeah, Zach Pop is quietly having a decent year, too, although small sample size.
1-1. Swing and a miss. That sinker that moves a foot to the right evaded the bat of Lowe, 1-2.
And that is just nasty. 97.1 all over the plate. Started on the inside part of the plate and just runs off the plate. Josh Lowe had a tough time with that pitch.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Went right back to the same pitch. And he gets Lowe for the first out.
That is nasty, nasty stuff. Like I've said a couple times, if Zach Pop can just harness that pitch and throw strikes at the bottom of the zone, he will be a very good high-leverage reliever for a long time to come.
We're here in the Timbermark broadcast booth, by the way. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 9th inning. 5-0 Blue Jays, and the pitch to Arozarena. Inside, ball 1. Although this is Pop's 4th year in the majors, he's still just 27 years old. The 1-0. Grounded to the left side, foul past the reach of IKF. 1-1. And this year, as opposed to last year for Pop, the walks have been way down so far. 1-1. Slider in the dirt, 2-1. He walked 4 per 9 last year in a limited sample, only 13 2/3. But he's walked 1 batter in 7 1/3 so far, and it was an intentional walk. His 2-1. Inside, ball 3.
I think what Alejandro Kirk has to do, and any catcher who's catching a guy with this much movement, is just set up right down the middle and let the ball move.
3-1. Hit in the air to left. Ranging toward the foul line, Dalton Varsho into the shade, makes the catch. Arozarena retired. There are 2 outs.
It's really hard for a guy like Zach Pop to throw strikes if he's aiming on the black or aiming thirds. You have to set up down the middle and just let the ball run to the black. Or if you're trying to throw to the outside part of the plate to a righty, Alejandro Kirk can set up off the plate and then let that ball run back over the outside third of the plate. But needless to say, this dude's got good stuff.
2 quick outs for Pop. Rays on their last leg. First pitch to Jonathan Aranda is 98 on the outside edge. Strike 1. It all started today with a great pitching performance of Alek Manoah. 7 scoreless innings, only 1 hit and 7 strikeouts. Pop's 0-1. Bounce to the right side. Pop going after it. Vladdy picks it up. Flip back to the pitcher. Not in time. Tough play as that was bounced really slowly and right in that Bermuda Triangle between the mound, the first baseman, and the second baseman. Pop pulled off the ball to go to the bag. Vladdy's momentum carried him almost all the way across the infield as he threw across his body. And the Blue Jays might take a look at this. I mean, it's a use it or lose it review in this situation. The umpires can initiate as well, and they are going to take a look at this play.
Well, that was an incredible play from Vlad, throwing across his body. I think he's out. I truly think he's out. I'm not saying that just because this has been such a good game and it would be a great play to end on, but I genuinely think he's out at first base.
We're getting a slow motion look right now. It's really close, I will say.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I'm not sure you're wrong. I'm just not sure I know that they're right. And again, as we often mention with reviews, you have to be 100% sure if you're the umpires in New York to overturn this.
And that's the problem, right? Like the call on the field is he is safe.
Although I saw a freeze frame there that looked pretty interesting.
But is that heel on first base? That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, I think it is. Although his white cleats and the white base don't make it easy to tell. Call on the field is safe, so if it stands or is confirmed, it'll be a runner on first, 2 outs in the top of the 9th. If they overturn, the game is over and the Blue Jays win.
Well, we know what the fans think.
Yes, very much so. It's been a lively day for the fans. A fun day at Rogers Center. Mentioned Manoa with the 7 great innings. Daniel Vogelbach with 3 hits. Started 3 different rallies. Homered in the second, doubled to start a 2-run rally in the 4th, singled to start a 2-run rally that was capped off by an Alejandro Kirk double in the 6th. And the fans are standing up. They're getting ready to race out of here potentially. And they're chanting out from the stands.
Well, unfortunately, the people in New York can't hear this. They're just looking at the replay in a studio somewhere.
It's not mob rule in replay reviews. Vladdy laughing right now on the mound as well as the fans try to urge an out. And it looks like we'll get a decision here in just a second.
After review, the ball in the field stands. The runner is safe. Toronto will lose the championship.
So the call stands, so they didn't have enough to confirm it nor to overturn it. And looking at it, I do think that's pretty fair.
It's a fair call, but it was an incredible play from Vlad, throwing across his body, hitting Zach Pop on the run, and it was actually a good job from Zach Pop finding the base and keeping his foot on the base and catching that baseball, but unfortunately safe at first base.
So the fans stay in their seats. 2 outs, a runner on first. 5-0 Blue Jays, top of the ninth. First pitch to Isak Paredes, grounded foul, 0-1. Goes down as an infield single, by the way, for Jonathan Aranda. And the Blue Jays, just in case something happens, have Jordan Romano getting loose in left field. Paredes 0 for 2, hit by a pitch and struck out twice. Takes an 0-1 slider down and away, 1-1. Blue Jays trying to take one from this 3-game series, avoid being swept for the first time this year. 1-1 pitch, hack and a miss on the slider. Paredes falls across the plate. It's 1-2. Rays are down to their final strike, and the fans get up again. 36,000 strong at Rogers Center cheering on Brampton native Zach Pop. The right-hander kicks and fires and misses down and away. Ball 2. And the claps start again. A leadoff first by Aranda. Pop in the set. Reaches back and fires. Fouled off to the right. Isak Paredes steps out, steps back in, and taps the plate. Looks out at Pop, who's hunched over, looking down at Kirk, and now stands tall in his set. The 2-2. In the dirt, blocked by Kirk, ball 3. He's trying to get Paredes to chase that strike-to-ball slider down and away, but Paredes is laid off.
Yeah, Pop trying to do just a little bit too much, not trusting his stuff, kind of yanking that slider. Isak Paredes too good. He won't bite on that.
The Rays have scored 4 runs or more in 8 consecutive games, but being shut out for now. The 3-2. Hit in the air, left field. Varsho going back at the wall, and that ball is gone. A 2-run homer for Isak Paredes, and the Rays have life. They get on the board when they're down to their final strike. It's 5-2 Blue Jays.
And that's what happens when a guy like Zach Pop elevates that heater. Less movement on it, less run, less sink, all those things. It stays straight about thigh high, and Isak Paredes is too good. He'll hit that pitch every day.
9th homer of the year for Isak Paredes. And this is why the Blue Jays got Jordan Romano up, just in case, although they'll stick with Zach Pop for now. Richie Palacios, a left-handed hitter, comes to the plate. 5-2 Blue Jays, 2 outs in the top of the 9th. First pitch. Outside, ball 1. Pop comes set at the belt. Rocks back in, delivers. And a swing and a liner down in right field. A base hit. Springer racing to cut it off. It'll be a single for Palacios. And 3 straight hits here for the Rays in the 9th inning. John Schneider circling around the stairs, and I think this will spell the end of Zach Pop's outing.
Well, I think looking at this inning, Zach Pop has pitched well for the majority of this inning, but his mistake was to Isak Paredes and throwing 3 or 4 sliders in a row and trying to do too much and yanking those sliders, and then unfortunately he threw that fastball right down the middle and hits a home run. Here comes John Schneider.
The Blue Jays will go to the closer now in a save situation. Jordan Romano is coming into the game next. But first, let's go to today's host. Here's Shoel Lee.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard as the lights start to flash red and black for Jordan Romano, quick reminder that we do have Jays Talk this afternoon. I will be solo today. You can send me a text anytime. 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. It is always open, and I will throw out the numbers for you guys to call after the final out. You want to talk about Alek Manoah? You want to talk about Daniel Vogelbach? We'll get to it all on Jays Talk after this game is in the books. All right, on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, let's check a score from 2 games on the schedule, both Game 7s. Both games can be watched on Sportsnet 1. The first one, Game 7 of Knicks-Pacers, is on right now. Pacers lead 31-22 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Now 34-22 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Some injury updates surrounding both Josh Hart and OG Anunoby. Hart had the abdominal strain, and OG Anunoby had the strained hamstring. Both of them playing in this game. That report pregame came from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. A lot of Raptors content, actually. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and James Johnson all in this game. Later tonight, the defending champs back at home. The Denver Nuggets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves in Colorado. Will Nikola Jokic advance to the West Finals? Will Anthony Edwards do so for the first time? We'll find out. Tip-off on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 1 goes at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And I think this is the first night we've been doing the out-of-town scoreboard that we have no NHL games on the schedule. The Oilers waxed the Canucks last night 5-1 to force Game 7. All the other series are already wrapped up. It does mean Game 7 in Vancouver goes tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. It'll be on the Sportsnet and the CBC on TV. It'll also be on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver. Winner of that series moves on to play the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Finals. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rest Protection. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Show. Top of the ninth, 2 outs, runner on first, 5-2 Blue Jays. Jordan Romano deals to Johnny DeLuca. It's called strike 1. DeLuca was the heartbreaker for the Blue Jays yesterday with a go-ahead 2-run shot in the 8th. Romano, meanwhile, has a little bit of history on the line. He's looking for his 104th Blue Jays save to tie for 3rd all-time in franchise history. 0-1. Went around on a breaking ball in the dirt, and quickly the closer has put DeLuca in a no-ball 2-strike hole. Romano leans down, cups his left ear. Raised down to their final strike for the second time today. The righty kicks, fires. Bounce the breaking ball to the plate, blocked by Kirk, 1-2. Romano looking to tie Roberto Osuna for 3rd in Blue Jays saves history. The 1-2. Swing and a miss! Strike 3, and Jordan Romano has tied for the 3rd most saves in Toronto Blue Jays history at 104. The Canadian closer comes in, closes out a 5-2 series closing game for the Blue Jays.
Alek Manoah was incredible today, but there were a couple guys that needed an offensive performance badly, and they got them today. Alejandro Kirk with 2 huge RBIs with that double later in the ball game. But Daniel Vogelbach, 3 for 4, a home run, a double, and a single. We've been waiting almost 7 weeks for an explosion from him, and we got one today. He was a huge spark for this team, but obviously Alek Manoah was just outstanding today, giving up only 1 hit, and the most impressive thing, only 1 walk. He continues throwing strikes, and if he continues to do this, he'll be a guy in this rotation all season long and be the guy that the Blue Jays fans were hoping he would be at the beginning of last year.
I know he's pretty young in his career, but that was vintage Alek Manoah today for the Blue Jays. They take the game 5-2, avoid being swept by the Rays and maybe get some momentum going into the series with the White Sox coming up. We'll wrap this one up, though, before sending you over to Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali. Stick around. The Blue Jays win 5-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're two men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think two men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men and a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barrios retires 7 in a row
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. The Blue Jays just wrapped up a 5-2 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, the 20th win of the season for Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Appreciate you tuning in to this Sunday matinee and sticking with us. We'll get you to Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali in just a moment. But first, we've talked a lot about Alek Manoah. He was simply phenomenal today. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 2 hit batters, 7 strikeouts. But let's hear more about our player of the game and hear Chris's thoughts on the other side. Today, the Blue Jays were looking for an offensive spark, and pregame people were saying, why isn't it Danny Jansen in the DH spot? Well, the Blue Jays went with Daniel Vogelbach, and he came up with a handful of big plays. He's our player of the game. Take a listen. 1-0. Vogelbach swings, drives the ball, right center field. Low going back at the wall. It's gone! Savali into the line with 2 outs, the 2-2. Vogelbach slaps it down the left field line. Base hit, rolling into the corner. Vogelbach around first. He's chugging for second, and he'll get there with a 2-out stand-up double. 1-1 pitch is hit on a line to right. That's down for a base hit. Daniel Vogelbach's 3 for 3.
Guess what, Ben?
He's a triple away
He
from
is
the
a
cycle.
triple shy of hitting for the cycle. Well, Daniel Vogelbach was the second star of the game today. Obviously, Alek Manoah was incredible, but Daniel Vogelbach, I think everybody's been waiting for something, seeing some signs of life from Daniel Vogelbach. I've seen him swing the bat just a little bit better over the last 3 or 4 days. He's hit a lot of balls on a line. He's hit some balls hard. Obviously, he's still hasn't really come through with big base hits yet. But Daniel Vogelbach today finally broke through the home run, the double, the single. I hope this continues. The Blue Jays need a lefty off the bench late in ball games. They need a guy that can DH against right-handed pitchers. And he's really the only guy that this team has. So if he's going to continue to be this guy, obviously not 3 for 4 every day, but if he's going to be able to help this team win, it can only help the Blue Jays going forward.
Vogelbach finishes 3 for 4. Notably, he homers in the second for the first run. He doubles with nobody on and 2 outs in the 4th inning, and that starts a 2-run rally. He singles to lead off the 6th, and that starts a 2-run rally as well. Trevor Richards comes in relief of Alek Manoah, throws a scoreless inning. Zach Pop nearly finished the last inning. A review going the wrong way ended up extending the inning with 2 outs. Isaac Paredes would homer, but that set the table for Jordan Romano to tie for 3rd all-time in saves in Blue Jays history. His 104th, knots him up with Roberto Osuna, and now he's staring up at Dwayne Ward trying to catch a legendary Blue Jays closer in saves. But for the Blue Jays, Chris, not saying that today solves issues that the Blue Jays have had over the last several weeks, but it does have to be big for them with a winnable series coming up against the Chicago White Sox that they get a game here against the Rays and get some momentum going.
Yeah, I mean, this was a team effort. Yes, we've talked about Alek Manoah pretty much for the last 3 hours, but this was a team effort. George Springer scored 2 runs. Obviously, Daniel Vogelbach, Alejandro Kirk. Vlad was 2 for 4, again hitting the ball hard a couple of times. But you're right, their schedule coming up, 3 games against the White Sox, 4 games against the Tigers, although the Tigers aren't as bad as people think.
Yeah, they're okay.
3 games again against the White Sox, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates come to town. They can kind of sneak their way back into this wild card race. I'm not saying catch the Orioles and catch the Yankees, but they can sneak to above 500, maybe kind of climb back into the wild card race. All they have to do is play well, take control, or control the things that you can control. Don't make errors. Don't give the other team chances. And you'll win a majority of these next games coming up, and then you find yourself in the thick of it again.
For the Blue Jays, they win today 5-2. They go to 20-25. The Rays to 25-23. The Rays came up with 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 error today, left 5 on. The Blue Jays with 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors, left 5 on as well. Alek Manoah with his first win of the season goes to 1-1 on the year. Aaron Savali picks up the loss. He's now 2-4. And for Jordan Romano, his 7th save in 8 tries in 104th career. A great crowd of 36,000 almost, maybe 100 less, here at Rogers Center on a sunny 19-degree day. Game lasted just under 2 hours and 30 minutes. And again, the Blue Jays take it 5-2. A good one today, and the Blue Jays will try to back that up with another one tomorrow. Jose Barrios takes the ball for Toronto. Eric Fetty on the other side for the Chicago White Sox. And because it's Victoria Day, a 3:07 start at Rogers Center. So we hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday on this long weekend, and we hope that you make us a part of your Monday as well. For our technical directors, Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your day, and get your calls and texts in, because Blue Jays Talk with our host, Show Ali, starts right now.
Well, a great way to salvage the series here at the Rogers Center. Still a long way to go until you can say the worm has turned, certainly, but on an absolutely gorgeous day here in downtown Toronto, the roof rolled way back since early this morning. The Jays get 7 innings of 1-hit ball from Alek Manoah. Daniel Vogelbach goes 3 for 4. He finishes a triple shy of the cycle. We got to see a Vogel bomb for the first time all season. Vladdy keeps swinging it pretty well. Kirk with a 2-run double over the outstretched glove of Randy Arozarena out there in left field. Great stuff pretty much all the way through to, with 2 outs to go or 1 out to go in the 9th. But still, the Jays win it 5-2. Great way to wrap up a Sunday here at the Rogers Center. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. Give me a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text me as well, as always, at 590-590. Leave your name and location, please. That's the People's Text line. And as you guys know, the People's Text line is always open. Look, before I get to Alek Manoah, because obviously we're going to talk about Alek Manoah. That's the first thing we're going to start with. But there was a text here I see from Adam in Calgary. Please please just do not start the quote-unquote, this can be the win that could turn the season around talk. It's only one game. Well played and pitched, but only one. I think that's fair. Honestly, I think that's totally valid. Hand up, I've been 100% guilty of doing that in the past, so you know what? Totally fair. I think it applies to Manoa as well, right? He has looked phenomenal. Robin in Toronto. Manoa has looked great since his return. Otherwise, one bad inning in his first start. Otherwise, pretty fantastic. Maybe Robin means one bad inning in the last start, I suppose. But otherwise, agreed, pretty fantastic. And most of us were ready to dump him last season. Very happy for the guy. Mike in Newmarket, great to see Manoa putting together another great start. He may be back. Also, good on Danny Burgers. He had himself a great day. Hope they can build on this with the White Sox coming to town. I admit I am not... This is like a dumb thing to say. I'm not really sure where the Danny Burgers nickname came from for Vogelbach, but great stuff for Vogelbach. We will get to the offense, but you know, as it usually is with Alek Manoah, and I actually said this last weekend too, he is always the story. Whether he plays great or plays poorly, whenever he is on the mound, he is always the focus. And today, it's certainly the former, not the latter. He played very well. I was very curious how he would look against left-handed batters, and the Rays put Josh Lau, Jonathan Aranda, Richie Palacios, and Ben Rortvedt all in the lineup. They used all of their available left-handed hitters. Brandon Lowe is going to come back. Brandon Lau is going to come back, Josh Lowe. Brandon Lowe is going to come back later in the week, so that's another left-handed bat the Rays will have available, did not have available. But I was very curious to see how he'd use the changeup, because he uses the changeup a lot against left-handed batters, and he largely got ahead in the count with that change. He seemed pretty confident in throwing it down in the zone, even in 3-2 counts, which he actually did a couple times. So that confidence is great to see. Great to see from Manoa. The changeup, let's be real, wasn't great in 2023. And I think the other part of that is that really none of his pitches were all that great, unfortunately. But today, the fastball, the slider, the occasional sinker, and the change all looked great. His motion continues to be repeatable. His raw stuff is also very good. The average velo today was around 93.5 miles an hour. It topped out at just over 95 miles an hour. So to borrow a word from Ross Atkins, very encouraging stuff from Alek Manoah. You know, I actually think the aspect of Manoah's outing, his demeanor, that's the better way of putting it, his demeanor, that we hadn't seen since he was a Cy Young finalist in 2022 was the showman, right? Like the guy who gets fired up. Like there was a strikeout of Isaac Paredes mid-game, and he was barking at Paredes as he came off the field. I'm not sure if they showed it on TV, but he was screaming at Paredes, and Paredes kind of paused as he walked halfway back to the Rays dugout. Manoah was halfway. There's like a TD sign that is, you know, just up the third base line that stands between like the steps, I guess, of the Jays dugout and the dirt path between third and home plate. And Manoah's kind of crossing the TD logo, and he turned back, screaming at Paredes, and Paredes kind of stopped and looked at him, and they were looking at each other as they were yelling, and I thought to myself, that's great. Honestly, I personally love it. And I know it sounds ironic, because I couldn't care less about it for some other players, but for Manoah, I think it's important because, you know, every further inning that he completed, he got more fired up. He got the standing ovation after 7. He gave Kirk a super hard high five, like a really aggressive high five as they got to the dugout. He just looked like the guy we all fell in love with when he was called up to play at Yankee Stadium. The guy who taunts Alec Verdugo, telling him to sit the bleep down, right? The guy who challenged Garrett Cole to step over the Audi logo and quote-unquote do something about it, right? I know some don't like that aspect of his game, but for me, I buy into that stuff wholeheartedly. I also just think it's just that fiery competitive nature, because we had seen it so much. When it wasn't there for Manoah, he just looked so defeated. And today, anything but. Great stuff. Always loved his trash talk. So if he can utilize that fiery competitive nature, and again, he can't let it overwhelm him. He can't let himself get too geared up and get out of control. But he has been in the past, not last year, but the year before, good at harnessing that for positive results. And we got to see a glimpse of that today. We got to see a really good glimpse. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, earned or otherwise, 1 walk. He did hit 2 batters. He threw 103 pitches and had 69 strikes. So I was very encouraged by what we saw from Alek Manoah. Let's go back to the text line at 590-590, name and location. I see, let's see. I see a text from Jeff in London. Sure is nice to see Alek Manoah do very well. Still need to see more. This is true. Pop and Nate must go. they look good, and then they're not good. P.S. Cubs fan, 40-plus years, know about losing, LOL. Yeah, Zach Pop, Nate Pearson. Zach Pop, I think we know what he is. You know, I don't think it's like a slight on him. And you know what? I kind of hate to say it on about a Canadian pitcher, Canadian ball player, but I think we kind of know what the ceiling is for Zach Pop at this point. We probably know what the ceiling is for Nate Pearson, so I can kind of get behind that. But the only problem is you do need bodies in the bullpen to be able to throw. The good news is, if you guys missed this, from Pat Malacaro at WGR, Pat, of course, the voice of the Bisons, he did say Chad Green looked pretty good today. I think he threw 9 pitches, 8 of them were strikes, in 1 inning of relief work for the Bisons. I wonder what the threshold is on Chad Green. Maybe that means he comes back sooner rather than later, but maybe he could be back up as soon as tomorrow, frankly. But maybe they give him 1 more outing before bringing him back up. But if you see a stat line like that and he's in games, you got to feel like his return is relatively imminent. I see a text here from, let's see, Harvey in Manitoba. Tell Robin to cram it. Plan the parade. Manoa is back. Again, you want to feel a little bit better about seeing more repeatable results from Manoa. But I mean, that he's done it in back-to-back games has got to feel pretty good. Jen in Toronto, always good hearing from you, Jen. Really good game by Manoa and not always behind. And she has a comment on Bo. We'll get to Bo in a little bit, but enjoyable game on a beautiful day, very much so. I like the mention of him not being behind batters, because in the first couple of innings, he was a little shaky. The pitch count was slightly elevated. He also just got deep into counts against batters, right? We saw a lot of 3-2 counts today, a lot of foul balls as Paredes and Arozarena and I think Diaz did it a couple times. But guys working Manoa a little bit, and let's be honest, the strike zone did not help a whole ton, because let's call a spade a spade. It was truly terrible today. But I had said on the pregame show that I thought it was unlikely that Manoa was going to be as efficient as he was last weekend, and that, while that's true, he actually still ended up being pretty efficient by the end of the game. Like, he tightened things up a great deal after the first few innings. He got through a few shorter innings on the back half of his outing. He struck out more batters today than he did last Sunday. And I also only bring up last Sunday this often because when you compare starts, that back-to-back starts have been like this, right? 7 innings, no runs today, 3 runs last weekend, more strikeouts today than he did last Sunday. I've got to make you feel a little better, right? And he doesn't have to go 7 deep all the time, but if he's like, it's because that's hardly a requirement, but if he can be even 70 to 75% of the guy he was 2 years ago, you're getting a really good pitcher still, right? There's a lot of runway ahead of both us and him before we can all declare him like quote-unquote back, but that is certainly a great sign. All right, let's go to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to Eddie in Fort Erie. Eddie, what's on your mind?
Not much. First of all, I just want to say happy Victoria Day to you and all the listeners.
Yeah. Happy long weekend.
Thank you. 2 things I want to talk about. First, the Manoa start. I really think that after that his first start back from the minors and the injury that he had against Washington, I think that was kind of a turning point for him, because if you remember, if you remember, Bassett was talking to him and he put the bat in the dugout and he showed him this is home plate and this is where you got to be and that sort of thing. And then, of course, and that was the game where I thought he kind of got a little too cute with his pitches when he had a 6-1 lead, I think it was, in Washington or whatever it was. And then he kind of like took his foot off the gas. And what you've seen in his last 2 starts is that he's really kept the foot on the gas, made some pitches when he had to, and that goes a long way. And you're right about today. You know, the Rays really got his pitch count up, but he made the pitches when he needed to, and he didn't lose his composure, which is great. And the other thing I want to talk about was Daniel Vogelbach today. And you know what, Show, when you look around baseball right now and you see all these teams that have guys that are stepping up right now, the Blue Jays need those kind of guys as well, because, you know, Justin Turner is not doing well right now. I mean, yeah, he's 39, and we brought him to be a run producer, but he's in an 0-for-25 slump, and you kind of need guys to step it up and do their part. And today, the fact that Vogelbach did that, was a step in the right direction. And that's what the Blue Jays need to do. They need to have guys that'll step up because, it's going to fade away soon, and you heard that sense of urgency. So hopefully that'll continue for the next few games against some easy teams. But let's just hope that they don't let their guard down against the White Sox and Tigers coming up.
Yeah, hey Eddie, thanks for the call, man. It's true. You absolutely, as the Blue Jays, cannot afford to look past anyone. Literally any team. I honestly don't care which team it is. The White Sox, the Tigers, and like Chris said, the Tigers have been playing better as of late. They have a better record than the Blue Jays do. Certainly the Oakland Athletics are in a not-too-distant future, even another series against the White Sox. So the Pirates are coming to town. The Pirates got off to a hot start and I think have kind of normalized a little bit, but you can't look past teams. You just I would say no matter who you are, you can't look past them. But the Dodgers and the Braves can't look past teams, much less the Blue Jays. So I hope they don't. But good stuff from Manoa, certainly to Eddie's point, and about Vogelbach. Okay, so I want to read this text too. There's actually no name on this text, so definitely please leave your name and location just so I can give you a shout out. This text says, "Show doubting Vogelbach pregame. You have to publicly apologize to this man on air. You have to now address him as Lord Vogelbaum from now on. In all seriousness, Vogelbach just bought himself more playing time in the lineup, at least until Joey Votto is ready." Evan says, "Daniel Vogelbach has started to heat up with more playing time. Do you think he should play a little more going forward?" Oh, here's a good one from Jason in Saskatoon. I think Frank the Tank Mets baseball podcaster coined the name Danny Burgers when Vogelbach was in New York. Okay, that makes sense. I can see that. We'll fact check that, Jason. But you know what? I believe you. I buy the explanation. That sounds plausible, honestly. Okay, Vogelbaum. A lot of Vogelbach slander for me. And I think I especially have been very critical of him, dating back to the first week of the season where Julia was like, "Hey, maybe pump the brakes on the DFA Vogelbach talk." But he shut me up today, especially after the lineup came out. And pregame, I was on the subway. I was on the TTC coming in. Hey, we have subway service or internet service on the subway now, which is phenomenal. So I was rushing Twitter and I saw it come up there, and I thought, come on. There's no Jano in the lineup. The guy's has an OPS over 1,000, and we're not getting Danny Jansen in the lineup. Vogelbach's DHing with no Turner in there, but hey, he shut me up real good. He hit the first Vogelbaum of the season right to right field, homer in 20 of 30 ballparks, slaps a double down the left field line, knocks in another single in his third AB, finishes a triple shy of the cycle. Great stuff from Vogelbach, and even on the last AB, he went 3 for 4 on the fourth AB. He kind of complained a little bit about the strike zone, and you know what? It was like a borderline pitch, but I didn't hate him taking. And you're that hot, you feel okay about it. I know I saw some people tweeting and kind of discussing the idea that he wasn't pinch ran for, but I feel like if you're swinging it that well, and there's a chance you come back up in a relatively close game, there's a chance you come back up later in the game, I kind of understand leaving him in there. If this is a regular game when he was going 0 for 4 or 1 for 4 or something like that, then you probably pinch run him, right? Or you replace him later in the ballgame. I don't think that was at the very least a particularly egregious part of the game. But hey, Daniel Vogelbach, I think, did buy himself a little bit of a reprieve today. It was great to see. He got huge ovations, I got to say, when he was up at the dish. So good for him. I hope he definitely comes back and continues that. Let's see. I see a text from. I see some competing text here about Manoa. Jeremy from Meaford. Always good to hear from you, Jeremy. He says, "I think the Jays tried to tamp that fieriness / emotional aspects down with Manoa, and it didn't work well. Glad to see him back." And then Stefan from Saskatchewan says, "Meh. Glad Manoa has worked his way back. Hopefully he keeps it going and builds up his trade value. I heard you like the yelling at the batters after a strikeout. I think it's lame, especially for a team 5 games under and a guy that's just hanging on to a roster spot in May." See, here's the thing. If it was a random guy doing it, I'd be like, what are you doing? What, you're going to just turn it up out of nowhere? But that's a part of who Manoa is. I think we've learned that by now, right? The guy got called up a number of years ago. That's always been a part of who he is. And again, the reason I bring it up is because when he wasn't doing it, when things were going well, he just looked mentally defeated. And I genuinely, personally, having talked to him just a handful of times, but I felt kind of bad for the guy. I felt bad for him because he can be very successful. He's very talented, but he had not been harnessing literally anything to give himself any kind of success, to put himself in good positions. And maybe the Blue Jays didn't help him out the best by continuing to throw him out there last year when he was struggling. But I kind of like that he's not only recapturing the play on the field, but that he's recapturing a little bit of his own personality, that he's comfortable enough on the mound to show that personality when he is playing really well. I just feel like you can't do that when you're above 500. You can't only do that when you're playing well. If that's a part of who you are, you're going to always have to do that. That's the way I view it, right? It's just you can't pick and choose when to be like a super fiery competitor, essentially, right? That's the only reason I bring it up. But I personally like it. I quite enjoy it. Let's go back to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Russ calling us from New Jersey. Russ, or were you here at the game today?
No, I live in Jersey. I was in Baltimore, I was in Philly, so I've been seeing enough of the Jays lately. But I'll say one thing first about Manoa, and I'm not going to talk about the Ross Atkins press conference, which I thought was just the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay. But obviously no one challenges him. But what I'm going to say is like this. First of all, Manoa, the biggest thing is, last year if he hit a guy or if he made a bit mistake, it's a simple thing like hitting a guy. He got all rattled and he didn't find the strike zone. I think he just, puts his gets his composure back, and he goes out there and he threw strikes. The little things aren't bothering him that he did last year. In the big picture, we lost. We haven't won a series in 8 series. Okay, we've lost 6 and split 2. I will say the Blue Jays, they're playing the White Sox, Detroit, and the White Sox. Now, they got to sweep the White Sox both series. And you say, well, it's tough in baseball. You know what? They did it last year, and they gave up 11 runs to the White Sox. This is the worst offensive team in in Major Leagues. Okay? I think the over-under for the total runs tomorrow night might be 1 or might be, 2.5 or something. I don't know what it will be, but that game should go pretty quick with Barrios pitching. They got to go sweep him and go take 3 out of 4 from Detroit. 8-2 I'll accept. And if you want to get back into this, you better start winning. You better start sweeping some series. Things they did last year. They beat Pittsburgh. They even swept Atlanta one series. They swept some series. And they got to sweep the White Sox this week to even, get back into things. So, I think this week will be a big tell. You definitely can't lose the series. But, 2 out of 3, I'll be a little disappointed. With the way they've started, if they want to get back into things, they're going to have to sweep some series. Winning series against the White Sox is not going to be good enough because you're soon going to be playing Baltimore again. And the Yankees and those teams and some of the better teams, you got to really beat these bad teams.
I do want to ask you, Russ, before you go, what you thought out of the offense today. Just because you and I have had conversations before about the lack of offense, certainly. And today, 5 runs, it's not terrible by any means. You still want a little bit more, certainly at times. But what did you think of the offense on a day that was kind of powered by Daniel Vogelbach?
Right. So I'll tell you, and it's for another day. I'm not going to rain on the parade. This is why Ross Atkins is out to lunch. Okay? The Blue Jays have struck out the second least times in the major leagues. The second least times. They're in the middle of the pack in walks, maybe 13th or 12th or 14th. So it's not like they're going up there and swinging and striking out. They have good approaches at the plate. They get hitters counts. There's only one problem. They don't have the talent. I don't care who you are. They're not a good offensive team. So, if they have, they're striking out a ton and they don't hit the ball and they're clueless at the plate, they're not clueless at the plate. You have guys, I went to that Baltimore game last week, the second game, they must have had 6 or 7 counts in 3-2, but they couldn't get a hit. Yeah. 3-1, 3-2. The biggest problem with this team is there's no talent offensively. Listen, do I think Vladdy could hit more homers? 100%. It looks like right now I call him the right-handed hit Rod Carew. That's what he is. He's hitting a bunch of singles. You know what I mean? But, yes, can he hit more? But this lineup, you go up and down. I don't think it scares many teams. Blippa, Clement, whoever you have out there, Varsho. The first name that came out of Ross Atkins' mouth yesterday when he said what good things is Dalton Varshaw's hitting 204. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Hey,
It's you just listen. You hope and you hope. Listen, I'm a Blue Jay fan, and I hope I'm wrong, but right now it looks terrible.
Hey, Russ, appreciate the call, man. Enjoy. I guess it's not Victoria Day. I guess it's Memorial Day in the States. So enjoy the weekend. Thank you for calling, as always. So, okay, a couple of things with Russ. You gotta again. That's to the point of Eddie before. You gotta take advantage of the quote unquote winnable games. I will always. And I know Russ basically just said like, oh, you can't always talk about sweeping teams, but you got to sweep the teams. For me, sweeping teams are even the bad teams is really hard to do, right? I mean, that's just a fact. I feel like, right? And again, I think if you're playing the same team 6 times in the span of like 10 days, effectively, or maybe a little more than 10 days, yeah, maybe you could probably expect like 5 of 6 wins. I just think that maybe at home that's a little bit easier to do, and the White Sox come in here starting tomorrow for the first of 3. But when you're on the south side of Chicago next Monday, not tomorrow, but the following Monday, I find if you can get 2 of 3, I think that's fine. Honestly, I think that's fine. You're also going to see, keep in mind, you're going to see Garrett Crochet. I know a lot of people are not super familiar with Garrett Crochet, but he's pitched very well so far this season. So I am wondering how that will go. I think that's the Tuesday game. So tomorrow is Fetty. So we'll see how that works out. But you do have to win games against teams that are at least on your level, if not worse than you when it comes to the White Sox. Certainly the Tigers have, like we talked about, a bit of a better record. On the offense, I think there's a good point by Russ in the sense that, and this is not something we didn't know. We all know this at this point, but the idea that maybe the ceiling offensively for this team and just the abilities of the guys on the roster is like relatively capped, right? I think you can expect more from certain guys. You can expect more from Bo, obviously, and Boyd into 2 back-breaking double plays today. Not great, obviously, but you need more from Bo. Certainly, you need more from Vladdy in terms of power because, in his last, 30 games, he's hitting well over 300. So you feel good about what you've seen from Vladdy recently, even if you need more power. But you need more from other guys as well, right? You do need more from Dalton Varsho. You do.